Chapter 1917 Seal of People. Chapter 1917 Seal of People. He came mysteriously and left quietly. It was like a deity, disappearing without a trace. He disappeared with the dense aura of an evil spirit. Long Fei was a little puzzled, looking at his own devil's hand. I discovered that he became a son of God so easily. The reason why it could sense the different evil spirit chi on the woman's body was because the devil's hand's power was surging. However, Long Fei never thought that the woman would see him as a son of God. If only I was really son of God. That's not right. I must become a son of God. Master Tian Shu is still waiting for me to save her. Long Fei's eyes became firm and he asked, I wonder how Master Tian Shu is doing. If he fell from the sky, would he be dead or alive? Long Fei was very worried in his heart. Not long after, the Bic woke up, looked at Long Fei and asked, Head chef, what happened? Long Fei recovered his expression and shook his head, saying, Nothing. You must be careful during tomorrow's martial arts training assessment. Long Fei reminded her. Bic laughed, Don't worry, I have never been afraid of anyone during the martial arts training assessment. I will definitely not lose. He thought to himself, My goal is to become a man of the martial Buddha. Early morning. The supervising temple's monk suddenly came. Without saying a word, he immediately let the three of them out. At the entrance of the supervising temple. Bastard, I've lost all my face for you. Pa. Before Long Fei could react, an old man pulled out a vine from his hands and slapped it onto the young master's chest. His clothes were ripped apart and his flesh was lacerated. Just looking at it made him feel a burning pain. The rich young master lowered his head, not daring to speak. The elder's eyes were filled with rage as he said, You're just like that lowly mother of yours, useless trash. A trace of anger flashed through the young master's eyes. The old man's eyes grew vicious as he whipped the young lord again, not caring about the young lord's life or death. If I had known, I definitely wouldn't have let you come to this world. Long Fei found it a little hard to listen any longer. He took a step forward and said faintly, Why didn't your father shoot you into the wall then? The old man stared at Long Fei coldly. Without saying a word, he lashed out with his whip towards Long Fei, and bellowed, Who are you, to have the qualifications to speak to me? Without waiting for the whip to fall, Bic's body moved slightly. The rich young master's body also moved. They couldn't help but to automatically protect Long Fei. Long Fei, on the other hand, was a step ahead of them. He grabbed onto the whip and whipped it hard, immediately snatching it away. However, Long Fei glanced at the rich young master, and in the end, endured it. You dare to snatch my whip? You dog, I think you're tired of living. Men, arrest them again. The old man's eyes blazed with anger. Long Fei felt a chill between his brows, and the killing intent in his aura burst out, as he said solemnly, Whoever freaking moved, this daddy wants their life. He didn't care. He was already very unhappy. If he displeased Long Fei again, he would have to die. The few people behind the old man did not dare to move. Bic shouted coldly, We are people that have been awakened by the seal of, to dare lay a hand on us is to be disrespectful to Son of God. You, a mere Buddhist temple elder, what are you? You dare to hit the future martial Buddha. Do you believe that I can get thousands of believers to remove your head? The Bic said fiercely. The old man's eyes widened, Seal of? Tempech, you think I will believe you? Who would believe it? How can a lowly bastard like him be qualified to become a martial Buddha? Go and take a look on the main street, who doesn't have swastika on their back? How could a lowly person become a noble martial Buddha? Absolutely impossible. He was very clear that a rich young master would not be able to become a martial Buddha. It was simply impossible to become a martial Buddha. Bic was startled. What do you mean? The old man laughed coldly. What I mean is, the so-called seal of S you guys are talking about are just tattoos, just a little bit of Buddhist energy from your body activating the golden light, creating the illusion of a seal of awakening. Do you think anyone would believe you? Ha ha ha. This trick of yours is completely decimated by others. Go take a look on the street, who doesn't have seal of on their back? Humph. Seal of, it's the mark of the Lord of Buddha. I want to become the martial Buddha. You, a lowly person, have dreamed your entire life. The elder stared coldly at the young master and said, "Don't embarrass me again. Otherwise, I will make you disappear just like your mother disappeared." Sinister and sinister. He clenched his hands into fists and his joints cracked. If it was according to Long Fei's personality, the old man would have already lost his head. However, after all, this was a family matter for the rich and young. It wasn't good for others to interfere. The old man walked away. Bick looked at the rich young master with a puzzled expression and asked, "Is he really your father? How could you have such a father? Aren't you a popinjay?" Why? He couldn't understand. Yesterday, he had brought along a popinjay that was tyrannically overbearing like an evil slave. Today was the day it turned into such a miserable state. The youth's fist loosened. In his eyes, "I have always been a lowly bastard. If it wasn't for that bit of blood relation, I would have died a long time ago." Long Fei said slightly, "Humans are not noble or lowly. The so-called noble or lowly is only something that the world imposes on oneself. Since he has treated you as a lowly person, then use your noble body and give him a ruthless slap." The rich and wealthy young master looked at Long Fei and asked, "A noble body?" Long Fei said, "Become a martial Buddha." The rich young master said, "But am I really the person Lord of Buddha has chosen?" He didn't even believe himself. Even though he himself clearly knew that he had awakened a seal of, but he can become a martial Buddha? Bick said, "Other people's seal of are tattoos, and ours are truly the truth. Just by this alone, we have to prove it to others." Long Fei said indifferently, "Let's go, the martial arts training examination is about to begin." The three of them walked out of the supervisor temple onto the street. He discovered. Just as the rich and young father had said, the streets were filled with half-naked people with a large swastika on their backs. Some were tattooed. Some people were even more straightforward, using brushes to draw on the paper, sweating a little, and having a back full of ink. That scene. Long Fei was so shocked that he couldn't even speak. Damn, a bunch of retards. Everyone dreamed of becoming a son of God. Even if one could not become a son of God, being able to become a martial Buddha was a supreme honor. The monk went crazy as well. Suddenly, the Bick pointed in the distance and said, "Look. White cloth saint." Long Fei and the rich youth looked over at the same time, and it was also at this time that the center of Long Fei's brows tightened. Is she the evil spirit that appeared last night? Chapter 1918 You've been exposed. Chapter 1918 You've been exposed. Long Fei did not change his expression. The lady in white smiled at Long Fei. The two of them seemed to have reached a tacit understanding. The martial arts training assessment had also begun. In the central plaza of Buddha City, 1,000 monks walked out with Vajra rod in hand. The martial arts training test was not about challenging each other, but about wanting the monk to issue a challenge. It is indeed different. Bick hugged his fists as he became excited. "Big Chef, the monk who held us tightly in the prison was also there. Don't let me match him, otherwise, he would definitely beat the crap out of him." Long Fei asked, "I only wanted the monk to issue a challenge, then what about the people who passed the examination?" The rich young master looked into the sky and said, "Today's assessment will allow 100 people to enter the Bliss Temple. Bliss Temple is the best examination venue. Meet Lord of Buddha." The Bick said, "Even though we say that we are meeting the Lord of Buddha, it is actually just being baptized by the Holy Buddha. Let's see who will be able to last until the end. Who exactly will become the Son of God is not something that can be decided by anyone." Long Fei slightly nodded, and said, "Seems like it really is quite a fancy job. Son of God. Buddha root. I've got it." Long Fei could not help but clench his fists. At this time, the rich and young father, the great clan elder of the Buddha temple, stepped onto the stage and said, "The martial arts training assessment will now begin. Only 100 people have the qualifications to enter the Bliss Temple. I hope you guys will show me 120,000 points of strength to prove yourselves. Don't be like some people who would discredit their families by putting on a fake act." The squat's eyes darkened. Long Fei lightly patted his shoulder, and said, "Prove it to him, prove yourself, and it'll be equivalent to slapping his face." The rich young master nodded heavily. Ha! The 1,000 monks heavily shouted, showing their extraordinary might. The Bhikkhu rubbed his hands together and said excitedly, "Everyone says that the monk is the strongest fighting force in the Buddha city. They all possess extremely strong Buddhist holy energy. I must flatten them today." While they were talking, the 1,000 examinees whose names were called walked forward. Ha! Among them were people with seal of tattoos on their backs. Fight. Begin. Bang, bang, bang. A series of explosions sounded out. Before anyone could react, all 1,000 challengers were sent flying. Not a single one of them succeeded in their challenge. All failures. Next batch. Long Fei's eyes trembled slightly. Damn, so fast. The strength of these monks are very strong. Their bodies have all been baptized in Buddhist light and it's hard to harm them even a little with their diamond bones. Half a minute later. Boom, boom, boom. Another large number of examinees were sent flying. Every single person was able to execute 10 moves. The monk was unparalleled in power, too strong. These monks are too strong. Who would be able to pass the examination? Not at all. What kind of Son of God selection is this? Maybe the Son of God has already been eliminated from the competition. I am the seal of awakened, you can't treat me like this. I am the future martial Buddha. I am the future martial Buddha. I am still a son of God. Various discussions sounded in the crowd. The 2 consecutive batches of challengers had all failed, and the monk was completely unscathed. The difference in power was simply too great. Monk was an elite guard amongst the Buddha city, and was also the person with the strongest fighting strength. In the entire Buddha city, they were the only ones who relied on them to fight against evil spirits, so their cultivation strength was naturally not simple. The next batch of names I have. Bhikkhu laughed excitedly, let's see how I'll cripple them. Next batch. Bhikkhu walked up excitedly, see how I'll take care of them. Bhikkhu strode forward. He directly walked in front of the monk that caught him yesterday and said, "Yesterday you were monk, so I didn't dare to touch you. Today, you are my assessment subject, so I will smash you to the ground." The monk was expressionless. Bhikkhu said, "Ignore them as much as you want. Begin the challenge." Boom. Bhikkhu moved his body, his muscles swelling up. The clothes on his upper body immediately burst apart, the muscles piece by piece, their lines distinct and full of explosive power. However, the seal on his back did not appear. It was not because he had disappeared. Rather, it was because the real seal would not reveal a large swastika on its back like the one in question did, and would instead hide in its body. The monk's eyes moved, the diamond staff in his hand struck down, rod shadows filled the sky. This technique was incredibly powerful. Bhikkhu took a step forward, and stood still as a boulder. Come. Boom. In that moment, the Buddhist light on the Bhikkhu flashed, and the seal suddenly appeared behind him. Buzz. His fists were like heavy cannons as they were blasted away while resisting the pole. Bang, bang, bang. The monk's chest caved in as he spat out a mouthful of blood. Bhikkhu did not let go, he quickly advanced forward, and every step he took, he exploded. "I said that I will smash you to the ground, and I will definitely smash you to the ground." Boom. Boom. Boom was unable to endure the continuous barrage of attacks and was forced to lie flat on the ground. Bhikkhu disdainfully said, "Awesome, right? Monk is amazing. I will become the martial Buddha." Monk's eyes darkened as he stared at Bhikkhu. However, Bhikkhu ignored him at this moment. Challenge ended. Amongst the 1,000 people, only Bhikkhu won. Everyone looked at Bhikkhu. Bhikkhu swept his gaze across the entire audience, dragging it as if it was 250 years old, and shouted, "Do you know what seal are? You imposters. Tch. A brisk stroke." Bhikkhu returned to Long Fei's side and laughed. "Big chef, how is it? Isn't he handsome enough?" The rich young master said, "You are too ostentatious. To become the first target of evil spirit tribes attacks like this, you have already been completely exposed." Long Fei looked at Bhikkhu and said, "You're handsome, right?" Bhikkhu was speechless. Next batch. Another sound rang out. The rich young master said excitedly, "It's my turn." Bhikkhu looked at the rich young master with disdain as he said, "Let's see how you can hide yourself now." At this moment, from a new monk, he should be the head monk of the monk hall, and also the strongest monk. Not waiting for the rich and young to choose. The monk stood in front of the rich young master and said, "Your opponent is me." The rich young master looked at his father and thought to himself, "Mother, I will prove myself to you. I will want everyone to prove myself to me. Begin the challenge." As soon as he finished, suddenly, with a flash of white, a monk was pushed back several hundred meters. The white-clothed female instantly defeated monk. Everyone was dumbfounded. This martial skill was so strong that it could instantly kill someone. Long Fei's eyes flashed, so powerful. It was also at this time. The rich and young people were being forced back again and again. He was about to be relegated, and in the end, the rich youngster's eyes widened. With a roar, the seal of behind him also released a ray of light. With a move of his fists, he directly smashed the diamond staff apart with a single punch. Victory. Chapter 1919, Yaksha, Wind Acupoints. Chapter 1919, Yaksha, Wind Acupoints. The magnificence of the white cloth saint. The sudden outburst of a rich and young master. The entire audience was stunned. So powerful. These two are too strong. That white cloth saint has lotus imprints on his hands and feet. Could he be that son of God? How could that hedonistic and evil young master be the person selected by the Lord of Buddha? The rich young master glanced at his father coldly, then turned around and left. His father's expression darkened. He had seen with his own eyes the light of the seal on the back of the broad young master. It was definitely not an ordinary Buddhist light, absolutely not. Could it be? He was really the person that Lord of Buddha had chosen. At this moment, his heart ached. His face was burning as if someone had slapped him. Zhong Xian's face darkened. The rich young master walked back to Long Fei's side and said, "Thank you." The Bic laughed and said, "Brat, you've been exposed as well. If you say I've been exposed, then you've also been exposed." Long Fei laughed. Bic said, "Head chef, you are next. How are you going to do that?" Long Fei looked at the white cloth saint in the distance. Coincidentally, the white cloth saint was also looking at Long Fei. Their eyes met. A kitchen knife chops the wires. Killing intent. Next batch. As soon as he finished, a few more monks were replaced. Long Fei walked forward. Without waiting for Long Fei to find the challenger, a monk stood in front of Long Fei and his eyes darkened. Long Fei's devil's hand began to move. Long Fei was slightly shocked. "Evil spirit." The monk smiled slightly, and said, "What little master said is right, you can indeed feel the existence of evil spirits. It seems that you really are a teleporting son of God. Since that's the case." Monk smiled and said, then he should be dead." Without waiting for the host to start talking, the monk attacked first. Evil spirit, devilish flames. However, those low-level evil spirits, including the Jiekong's kind of bosses, were all low-level evil spirits. The real evil spirit tribespeople would not release their devil flames. They were just like a normal spirit race. Even if you were in the crowd, you wouldn't notice. The monk in front of him was a real evil spirit. He suddenly made his move. However, without any hesitation, Long Fei turned his face to look at the white cloth saint in the distance and smiled faintly. The idea moved. Yin-yang limitless blasting fists. Boom. His fists sank. Crimson red. Both of his fists locked onto the charging war god as he punched out. The power of yin and yang was invisible and intangible. Move. Buzz. Exploding forth. Rumble. Monk's body split open in mid-air and a stream of devil fire was suddenly released from his body, enveloping the entire plaza. Everyone was shocked, and their faces were overwhelmed with shock. Evil spirit. It's an evil spirit. How did an evil spirit become a monk? He's a true evil spirit tribe. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for defeating High Evil Spirit for obtaining 100,000 experience, 10,000 holy power value points, and 1 metamorphic energy value point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Evil Spirit Seal. Do you wish to cultivate it? Evil Spirit Seal? Long Fei hesitated for a moment, then said with the idea controlling his metamorphic energy value, Inject the metamorphic energy value. A perverted energy poured into the evil spirit seal. At this point, his cultivation technique was undergoing a rapid metamorphosis. In just 3 seconds, the system beeped. Ding! Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining the wind acupuncture point and releasing his training. Wind acupuncture point. In that instant, Long Fei immediately thought of an island anime, Yakusho, the wind acupuncture point of the Emila Mage. Damn! Is it really that amazing? The dog Yakusho was also an anime that Long Fei liked on Earth. Its wind tunnel was used by Mel Mage to absorb all kinds of monsters and demons. It was like a black hole. Instantly, Long Fei moved and said, "Cultivate." Buzz. The devil's hand moved suddenly, a black hole appearing in its right palm that looked like it was spinning, suddenly spinning and absorbing all the evil spirit demon flames that were exploding in the air. Long Fei didn't feel anything. However, but his devil's hand began to tremble. He was trembling in excitement. It was as though he had been injected with chicken blood. When the wind acupoint absorbed the evil spirit chi, the devil's hand transformed the evil spirit demon flame into devil's power, and the combination of the two was flawless. However, Long Fei was a little worried. Even if he completely recovered his strength right now, he would still not be able to control the entire strength of the devil's hand. When its power becomes unparalleled, can it be controlled? How strong was the Fiend King in the dome? Long Fei did not forget, if he allowed the devil's hand to grow stronger, would it be like what the Tian Shu master said? Would he be possessed? When the Grim Reaper tried to seize his body, he didn't succeed. The Infernal King wants to possess. He said to possess her just like that. Long Fei clenched both his fists, and said, "I still want to snatch his life." Long Fei regained his composure. The surrounding people all looked at Long Fei. Amongst the crowd, the white cloth saint had already disappeared. The Bic rushed forward and said, "Head chef, what power did you have just now? You directly killed an evil spirit. Wow. Are you a cook or not?" The rich young master said, "That's not important anymore. Look at the looks people around you have when they look at you, they all become incomparably respectful. Ha ha ha. Congratulations, big chef. You've also been exposed. You killed someone from Evil Spirit Tribe. Evil Spirit Tribe will never let you go, ha ha ha." Bic did not mind the fuss and laughed loudly. Long Fei smiled, and thought, Evil Spirit Tribe? The more I get, the better it is. I'm just worried that I won't have enough EXP to level up. Right now, I am training in the wind acupuncture point. If I combine the power of the devil's hand, 10,000 evil spirits won't be a problem. Long Fei was filled with confidence. The wind acupoints were able to absorb tons and tons of monsters and ghosts. "You failed." In a corner, a black-cloaked man coldly said. On the other side of the wall, the woman in white's face was gloomy and cold. There was a trace of fear in her eyes as she said, "This is just a test. I didn't do anything. Where did the failure come from? Humph. You better not fail, or else. You will never be able to return to the spirit race and you will never see him again." With that, the cloaked man disappeared. Cold sweat trickled down Whitecloth Saint's forehead as his eyes turned heavy. In that instant, he also disappeared on the spot. Too savage. The evil spirit tribe is actually mingling with the monk, we don't even know about it. Luckily that brat was not the son of God. If he was the son of God and was killed by the evil spirit, then the elders of the Bliss Temple were all furious. However, they would only be angry, but they would not do anything. Long Brow slightly frowned. When the Son of God comes, he will definitely go through all kinds of tribulations. Even if the evil spirit and holy maiden personally appear, he won't die, otherwise, he wouldn't be Son of God. Pay close attention to that person called Chief Wang. I keep having the feeling that he's not simple. Chapter 1920, Going to Bliss Temple. Chapter 1920, Going to Bliss Temple. After the evil spirit storm, the exam continued. Amongst the numerous examinees, it took a full day for only 100 of them to pass. 100,000 examinees. 100 people leveled up. 1 in 1,000. Head chef, Today you can be considered to be in the limelight. Tomorrow, you will be able to enter the Bliss Temple. That is the Buddhist temple after all. Bick was excited. How many people dream of that place? Bick looked at the rich young master, and then said, even the rich young master's father is not qualified to enter. Long Fei smiled faintly. He had been to the Bliss Temple before, so he did not mind at all. His goal was the Son of God. It's the Buddha route. As for the rest, he didn't think too much about it. Moreover, when Longbrowed and those monks saw him leaving, it was like he had slapped them in the face when they heard him. Long Fei liked the feeling of him slapping them in the face. Long Fei said, Bliss Temple is also extremely dangerous, just be careful. Bick asked, what's wrong? Could it be that there are people from the Bliss Temple? This is the sacred hall. Do the evil spirit tribe people dare to behave atrociously here? Temple? Don't dare to act wildly. There was nothing to fear. Although Long Fei had been taking the examination this whole time, he had still been paying attention to the movements of the evil spirit tribe. Why were they so calm during this period of time? They were clearly aware that Bliss Temple was choosing his Son of God, but they still remained indifferent. It was simply impossible. The only possibility was that there were people among the exam candidates who were confident enough to pass the first 2 rounds and enter the 3rd round. Which is, entering the Bliss Temple. Even. They wanted to become the Son of God. This way, the entire Bliss Temple wouldn't need to be blown away. This was a brilliant move. It was just that he did not know if the people from Bliss Temple realized this. Today's evil spirit martial Buddha was a type of reminder. How many of the examinees who were ranked in the 100 were evil spirits? The white cloth saint would definitely not enter by themselves. There will definitely be a bloody massacre in tomorrow's Bliss Temple assessment. However, Long Fei was also looking forward to this massacre, because, if that happened, he would be able to gain a lot of experience. No matter who. None of them were able to stop him from obtaining the Buddha route. The same goes for White Cloth Saint. Long Fei let out a light breath, and said, in short, listen to everything I say about tomorrow's assessment, and you must be careful in doing so. Bick looked at Long Fei and said, do you know something? Ever since you killed the evil spirit monk, you have felt different. Long Fei said in a low voice, tomorrow. Perhaps there will be a fierce battle. Evil spirit tribe. Lord, everything is ready. We are waiting for your signal tomorrow. An evil spirit Buddha said. The woman nodded slightly and said, all right. Tomorrow, we will take down the Bliss Temple in one fell swoop and have the holy Buddhahood serve us forever. Yes, sir. Everything was ready. Now all she had to do was wait for tomorrow's sunrise. At this time, an evil spirit Buddha walked in and said, reporting to my lord, that brat Long Fei has been found. The lady's eyes shook, and said, Long Fei? The evil spirit Buddha said, sir, you may not know this but he also participated in the Son of God selection and passed. You did not find out that it was because his name was not Long Fei, but what kind of chief Wang he is. Poochie. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The dignified young master of the Mu clan is actually called Chief Wang. Ha ha ha. I'm dying of laughter. Several evil spirits laughed. The woman's eyes turned cold. The laughter was immediately frozen, and not a single sound could be heard from the hall. He is Long Fei. Long Fei's appearance appeared in her mind and she said coldly, I should have known this a long time ago. How could the person who made us wait 1,000 years be a piece of trash? Heh heh. All right then. Since you are both a Long Fei and a Son of God, then you should die even more. But the woman felt that this was somewhat unbelievable. Son of God should be a member of the holy Buddhahood and had his heart set on Buddha, but Long Fei was an outsider with hands covered in blood. How could he be a member of the Son of God? This was too incredible. However, then, thinking about Long Fei's mother's identity, her brows relaxed slightly. If it's the power behind Mu clan, then forget about Son of God, I'm afraid. Son of God, Xiezi, it's possible for you to have the identity of a magic captain's. Mu clan. Ancient family of the boundless universe. Cooperating with the ancient Long family. It's hard to imagine. However, the two ancient families betting all on one person, Isn't this a little too much? Let me end this tomorrow. I can also return to the spirit race as soon as possible. The woman's heart was boiling. Because Long Fei was going to die. It was also because her mission was about to end. Bliss Temple, in the Great Hall. There are still no obvious characteristics. Son of God is still not sure. Tomorrow is the selection for the Buddha's main hall. We have no way of controlling who the Son of God is. This is killing me. Until now, there have only been 2 seal of who have awakened, and no one else. In the audience hall, discussions were rife. Everyone was feeling anxious. Who exactly was the Son of God? Would a new Buddha root appear? All of this made them feel like ants on a hot pan. The host said slightly, "How is the investigation of the evil spirit monk that appeared in the assessment, the person he was targeting called Chief Wang?" Just by hearing the name, it is impossible for him to be a son of God. What is there to investigate? Chief Wang, when I think of this name, I feel that it's really funny. There's no need to check. There was no one who took a person with such a sloppy name to heart. Chief Wang. How could a chef be a son of God? The host frowned and said, "Everything is possible. The people of Evil Spirit Tribe could have figured out who the Son of God is before us. If by any chance he is the Son of God." Before he could finish, a few elders burst out laughing. "If he is a son of God, I am still his father. Chief Wang, is it son of God?" Ha ha ha. The host frowned in annoyance. The main hall quieted down. The long-browed elder slightly said, "This person indeed needs to be checked, but there is no time left. The Bliss Temple's examination is going to start in a few hours. The most important thing is to strengthen our defense." Long-browed man said lightly. One of the monks said, "I have already sent all of the disciples of the Martial Buddha Hall out." The next morning, at the entrance of Bliss Temple, all the high-level monks and elders all appeared at the entrance. They were welcoming the new Son of God. One of them must be the Son of God, no matter who it was, they would not dare to neglect it. Suddenly, an elder frowned. "Why is that kid here?" Long brows secretly frowned. At this moment, a Bliss Temple of the Bliss Temple landed in front of Long Fei. He moved his diamond staff and pointed it at Long Fei's face, saying, "You have already been expelled from the Bliss Temple. You are not allowed to step even half a step into this place." Chapter 1921 Buddha's Main Hall, The Good Show Begins. Chapter 1921 Buddha's Main Hall, The Good Show Begins. Long Fei was a very special existence. Because he was the person who brought the Tian Shu back to the holy Buddhahood for the Buddha root. And even more so, the sinner of holy Buddhahood. Of course, Long Fei didn't do anything. If possible, many people wanted Long Fei to disappear from this world. When they saw Long Fei among the crowd, the expressions of many people suddenly changed. When Long Fei appeared, the evil spirit tribe would definitely appear. Long Fei stood in place without moving an inch. An elder shouted, "What are you doing among the examinees? Could it be that you, an outsider, can pass the examination? Could it be that you want to become a son of God and take command of a holy Buddhahood?" As soon as he finished, many people began to laugh. Him? Is he worthy? He's just an outsider. What the heck is he? Does he know what a Buddha is? Do you know what is a son of God? Although they were all cultivators, there was a huge gap between cultivators. To them, Long Fei would only bring them harm, ridiculing, disdaining, and disdaining. They were not happy with Long Fei's appearance. Bick said softly, "Big Chef, how did you offend the big boss of Bliss Temple? They are not like those monks, and are even more untouchable." The young master's gaze tightened. He and Bick looked at each other, and they could not help but move closer to Long Fei. It was as if he was instinctively protecting Long Fei. Even they themselves could not say. Long Fei smiled faintly, looked at the elder who spoke and said, "Why can't I come? You don't seem to have any rules preventing outsiders from participating in the Son of God selection, do you?" "You passed the selection?" The elder frowned. Another elder immediately said, "Your name isn't on the list." "Yes. You want to lie to us without your name? Kid, why don't you take a look at this place?" Bick said, "He is called Chief Wang, look and see if he has such a name." As soon as he finished, Long Brow's expression changed immediately. A smile appeared on the host's face as he took a step forward and said, "Since he has a name and has passed the examination, we can't reject him." "No way." Long Brows immediately stood up and objected. "His cheating, son of God can't be such a despicable and sinister villain." "I agree with the long-browed master." "I agree too." "I agree too." Immediately, quite a few people agreed. They definitely could not give Long Fei any chance. Even if everyone knew that he could not become the Son of God, they could not give him even the slightest chance. The more seconds he stayed in the Bliss Temple, the more dangerous this place would be. It has to be said that the reason the evil spirit tribe didn't make a move on the Bliss Temple for the past few hundred years wasn't because of his strength, but because they were waiting for him to appear. Now that Long Fei's identity was exposed, evil spirit tribe would definitely rush over at the first possible moment. During the crucial time of the Son of God selection, they could not take this risk. The host's eyes shook and said, "His name is just a code name, whether it's called Master Chef or Long Fei, this is his name. Among the 100 disciples, anyone has the possibility to become a son of God, and we cannot reject anyone, even if he is from the outside world." As he said this, the host's voice sank, and he said faintly, "If you object, then I will definitely protect him for the sake of the Son of God selection." The entire audience was slightly startled. With the host's order, who would dare to make a move? Long Brows slowly spoke, "Senior brother, are you sure you want to protect him? If the evil spirit tribe attack and the Bliss Temple is not protected, would you be able to take responsibility for it?" He directly crushed them with the evil spirit tribe. The host said, "I will bear all of it." Long Brows said, "Senior brother, for an outsider, what you're doing is not worth it." The host said, "Whether it's worth it or not, I know my limits. There's no need for you to remind me. If anyone dares to make things difficult for him again, don't blame this old man for being impolite." Long-browed face sank. The faces of the surrounding monks and elders also changed. Bick was secretly excited and whispered, "Wow, Chef, you are so valiant. I never thought that the host would actually protect you." The rich young master also whispered, "Chef, just who are you? Aren't you someone from the holy Buddhahood? The outside world? Where are you from?" Long Fei did not reply. Instead, he walked up to the host, bent down slightly, and said, "Thank you." The host revealed a kind smile and said, "Long Fei, do your best. Even if you aren't Son of God, you don't have to worry." Long Fei nodded, and said, "I know." It was also at this time. Long Fei's gaze swept across them as he said while looking at Long Brows, "I know you hate me, but don't worry. I'll keep making you feel bad." "Kid, what did you say? This is too arrogant. Who do you think you are, kid? How dare you speak to Master Long Eyebrow like that?" Several elders immediately shouted. Long Fei did not fear at all, and did not even look at these people. "I will become a son of God. You. Just get on your knees in front of me and let me slap your face." Domineering. Power. Extremely savage. The entire Bliss Temple was furious. He had seen arrogant people before, but he had never seen one who was so arrogant. Who is the Long Eyebrow Grandmaster? A person who was almost on the same level as the host actually dared to speak to him in such a manner? Wasn't this a provocation? Isn't he challenging the entire Bliss Temple? Zhongmai smiled and said, "To me, a person who lives by relying on the strength of others is nothing more than a talker. Long Fei, you will never become a son of God. Absolutely. Impossible." Long Brows also stopped with each word. Long Fei laughed, "Then we'll see." The atmosphere was tense and filled with the smell of gunpowder, as if they would explode at any moment. Bick and the rich young master were extremely nervous, as if they were afraid that Bliss Temple's monk would attack more often than them. However, he was nervous, but relieved. The big door of the Bliss Temple opened, and a straight flight of stairs that led to the Buddha's main hall appeared in front of them. Above the 9999 step was the Buddha's main hall. It was also the final test of this battle. 100 people came up the steps. Bick asked excitedly, "That is Buddha's main hall? Wow, this is like a dream." Every single person in the Holy Buddha Palace would be incomparably excited to see a Buddha's main hall, because this was the sacred place in their hearts. However, some people, had very calm expressions. On the way to Buddha's main hall, White Cloth Saint walked to Long Fei's side and said, "You want to become a son of God?" Long Fei smiled at her and said, "Could it be that you don't want to?" White Cloth Saint said, "I want to, but I want your life even more." Finished. The holy maiden laughed coldly, her smile was very demonic, her killing intent was cold, and she said in a low voice, "Buddha's main hall, the good show is about to begin." Chapter 1922, The Killing Evil Spirit and Holy Maiden. Chapter 1922, The Killing Evil Spirit and Holy Maiden. White Cloth Saint was an evil spirit. However, only Long Fei knew. He couldn't say it because of what he said. How could he prove it? The devil's hand must not be exposed, otherwise, he would not be able to become a son of God and he would not be able to obtain the Buddha root. However, from the beginning, Long Fei had never thought of exposing White Cloth Saint. What she did was her business, but don't provoke him, or. Long Fei looked at the distant figure of the White Cloth Saint, and the corner of his mouth slightly curled as he said, "Your good show is your good show. If your good show is to deal with me, then it will become my good show." What did the woman say to you, cook? Why can't I hear a single word? Bick was a little puzzled. He could clearly see White Cloth Saint's mouth move, but he just could not hear what he was saying. The broad-minded young man said, "This should be a Buddhist secret technique. What she said should only be heard by the head chef. Her cultivation is very strong. Head chef, just tell us what you said. Did she like you? The way I looked at her was not right." Bick was rather gossipy. Long Fei said, "Wait a moment when you enter the Buddha's main hall, don't move recklessly, put aside the matter regarding the Son of God selection." The rich youth frowned and asked, "Why?" Long Fei said, "Something big is about to happen. Step by step, step by step, step by step, 9,999 steps. Each step will cleanse your mind and cleanse the evil within your body." This was also known as the Divine Baptism Stairway. 100 people gathered in front of the Buddha's main hall. The host said lightly, "You will be staying inside for the next 3 days. No one knows what will happen or what will happen. It's all up to you. But, please remember, don't forget your true intentions." The host glanced at Long Fei. "And then," he said lightly, "go on in." The big door of the Buddha's main hall opened. Buddha's main hall was a very special space. It looked like a temple from the outside, but it was just an illusion. 1,000 blessings sat up. It sparkled with a golden light, as if it were a holy land for the purification of one's soul. After Long Fei entered the palace hall, the holy Buddha light in his body suddenly flickered. It was as if there was some sort of resonance. Long Fei's heart seemed to have been purified. Boom. After 100 people entered, the big door of the Buddha's main hall closed. This door would not open until 3 days later, at which time a new son of God would be born. Of course, it was also possible that no son of God would be born. Upon entering, quite a few people immediately knelt down. Long Fei did not move, he kept on staring at White Cloth Saint. Bick and the rich young master also knelt down. Suddenly, White Cloth Saint laughed and said coldly, "Kneel in front of the illusory Buddha, why not kowtow to me? This is disobedience. Blasphemy against the Lord of Buddha." A man said, "Who are you to dare say such words? Are you not afraid of the Lord of Buddha blaming you?" "Blame? Ha ha ha. Him." White Cloth Saint pointed at the statue of the Lord of Buddha in the middle. The idea moved, releasing a burst of spirit chi. Buzz. Rumble. The statue of the Lord of Buddha instantly crumbled into 2 pieces and crumbled onto the ground. "How preposterous. You're too impudent." The man stepped forward and punched White Cloth Saint. White Cloth Saint did not move. He only saw that his face was all smiles, and his smile was somewhat sinister. In that moment, the space between Long Fei's eyebrows sunk, and he thought to himself, "Damn it." Crack. An X-force was released and the man's body was split into 4 pieces. Blood spurted out of his wounds and filled the entire hall with blood. "Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Buddha. In my eyes, it's just a figment of the weak. Kneel before him? You might as well kneel before me. The woman laughed wildly. Bick and the rich young master were a bit unhappy, but they were stopped by Long Fei when they wanted to rush up. How strong was the white cloth saint? Long Fei was very clear in his heart that the Bick and the rich and powerful young master were simply no match for each other. The majority of the 100 examinees were believers of the Buddha. Their faith had been tainted, so they couldn't care less at this moment. All of them charged forward. White Cloth Saint was not afraid in the slightest as he said with a cold smile, "A bunch of trash. Living is simply an insult to this world. Ha ha ha." Buzz. An evil spirit aura burst forth. Boom. The main hall suddenly shook. The scarlet light spread out. Long Fei's brows tightened, and immediately said, "Hide behind me." He took a step forward. The idea moved, Holy Spirit defense. The Holy Spirit light shield enveloped Long Fei's entire body, and Long Fei pulled the Bick and the rich young master behind him. The moment the Holy Spirit light shield came into contact with the scarlet bloodlight, creaking sounds immediately rang out from the shield. It was unable to withstand the pressure at all. However, 99% of the attacks were cancelled. He had managed to protect the Bick and the rich young master, but 80% of the examinees in the hall were instantly killed, and fresh blood frantically gushed out of their bodies. This was a naked blasphemy. Using blood, using death, to look down on the Buddhist Sangha. However, and this is not the end. The white cloth saint smiled slightly as he looked at Long Fei, and said, "There is simply no such thing as a god in this world. The so-called Buddha that saves the common people is only a powerhouse who wields absolute power, and now, I am the powerhouse." He exerted his strength. The scarlet blood light rushed into the examinees who were killed. In that instant, the four of them suddenly opened their eyes, and their pupils turned red. "Become an evil spirit," Bick exclaimed. "How did it become an evil spirit?" The rich young master said, "This woman is really abnormal." A few survivors rushed to the door and shouted, "Open the door! Open the door! Quickly! Save us!" They had never seen an evil spirit in their lives. He had never seen such a terrifying person before. A faint smile hung on White Cloth Saint's face as he said, "No one can save you. Lord of Buddha, Son of God, and all those petty monks in Bliss Temple cannot. Only me. I can grant you eternal life, ha ha ha." White Cloth Saint was like a bloodthirsty witch. She was beautiful, she had big breasts, but she preferred killing. White Cloth Saint's gaze turned and landed on Long Fei, and said, "The good show is about to start, it's your turn now. I waited in holy Buddhahood for 1,000 years for you." Long Fei walked up and said, "You like me?" White Cloth Saint sneered and said, "Because of you, I can't even return to my own world. I don't have to worry anymore. I can return to my world soon, because you're going to die soon." While they were talking, White Cloth Saint's aura moved. Rumble. The white robe on her body turned blood red, and a rhombus-shaped mark appeared on her forehead. "Evil spirit, holy maiden," the rich young master exclaimed. Bick immediately landed beside Long Fei. At this time, Long Fei's arms were scarlet red, his sleeves were ignited, and he said solemnly, "Whatever you do has nothing to do with me, but if you want to touch me, then you're wrong." Boom. Limitless blasting fist, open. Chapter 1923 Martial Buddha Awakening, All Dead. Chapter 1923 Martial Buddha Awakening, All Dead. "I don't care what you blaspheme. Who cares what you kill? But don't provoke me, or..." That was just one word, fuck. Long Fei wasn't that kind of person who cared about women. He wouldn't stay his hand just because you were a beauty. As long as you were in his way, he wouldn't care about your beauties or your wild beast. Limitless blasting fist. Buzz. Long Fei's arms fiercely shook. "Not speaking nonsense, I will first blast you around first." From the moment Long Fei entered the Buddha Hall, he had already locked onto the White Cloth Saint. Thus, the blasting fist could be directly released. The power of limitless, the combination of yin and yang, and the corresponding plaything. In this instant, an incomparably powerful energy surged on Long Fei's fist as he punched out. Buzz. The air exploded. Rumble. 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 Extremely powerful. Both the Bic and the rich young master were shocked. They did not expect that Long Fei's strength would be this strong to such an extent. They were extremely shocked. However, the expression in Whitecloth Saint's eyes changed slightly as he said with a cold smile, "This kind of power can also display its full power in the plane you're in. Where is it now? Hee. Use it on me. Hee. It. Still not strong enough." The Whitecloth Saint was not afraid in the slightest. Instead, he took a step forward in front of Long Fei, and struck violently with a burst of power in his hands. To go head-to-head with the blasting fist. If this was a world of 100,000 planes, it would undoubtedly be a death sentence. But, one level after another of the restrictions of the law energies. No matter how strong the cultivation method was, Long Fei's strength was restricted by the power of law. The blasting fist was the blasting fist of the 100,000 planes commanded by the main temple. In this holy Buddhahood, was it still able to unleash that kind of strength that could instantly kill everything and ignore everything? Long Fei was not confident. The moment he saw Whitecloth Saint charge towards the blasting fist, his heart faintly moved, and his body charged forward as well. The blasting fist erupted. Powerful evil spirits collided against each other. They did not touch the Whitecloth Saint. The moment the two forces made contact in the air, it was as if the sky was falling and the earth was cracking. The space around them constantly exploded, creating crackling and crackling sounds of fire. He had withstood it. The blasting fist was blocked. In the past, he would at most be interrupted. But now, however, the blasting fist was forcibly stopped by a force. Long Fei frowned, he secretly tightened his eyes. The first plane and the first stage of the ancient code, it seems like the blasting fist is of no use to this holy Buddhahood. It was still fine to deal with ordinary experts. But, when it was time to deal with the powerhouse, it was unable to unleash its power of insta-kill. However, the instant the power of the blasting fist was stopped, Long Fei had already landed. The aura from his entire body moved, and directly jumped over the first two stages of the Purple Sun divine power. With a loud roar, he shouted, "Heavenly Emperor Xiang!" The destruction of the Celestial Emperor. Purplish-blue flames burned on Long Fei's body and a Heavenly Emperor's simulacrum appeared above his head. His palm struck down, as if it was crushing down from the sky. Whitecloth Saint's face darkened. This power was beyond her expectations. However, who is she? She was the evil spirit Holy Maiden. Power, cultivation is something this low-plane holy Buddhahood cannot compare with, because she came from the universal large world. Facing Long Fei's power of the Purple Sun Heavenly Emperor, her eyes narrowed slightly as a drop of her blood essence floated out and exploded on top of her head. Buzz. Evil spirit blood sacrifice. Undead shield. Buzz. A blood sacrifice of power formed a light shield that enveloped him. The light shield formed countless undead that surrounded his body, coldly saying, "I didn't think that you would have such powerful strength, however. Even if you are strong, it's useless. Today, you must die." Rumble. The power of the Purple Sun Celestial Emperor chopped down. Whitecloth Saint's undead shield resisted the attack. Her body only trembled slightly, and she didn't suffer much pain. Moreover, at the same time, she took a step back and pointed at Long Fei's forehead. Finger sword. Destiny. The sword chi on the tip of Whitecloth Saint's finger was like a ray of light, penetrating through all the energy and attacking Long Fei. Faster. Incomparable speed. Faster than lightning. Long Fei's body was now an extremely strong body. No matter how fast he was crawling like an ant, but the speed of the Whitecloth Saint's fingers and swords were at a stage where he couldn't even see them clearly. Long Fei continuously retreated. Bic and the generous young master looked at each other. Next, the seal of S on the two roared loudly, the Buddhist light shone through tens of thousands of meters, and rushed out at the same time. Martial Buddha? Humph. The Whitecloth Saint snorted and said, "Just the two of you?" The upper half of the Bic and the rich youth's bodies were bare, and the light emitted by the swastika character was incomparably dazzling. The strength in their bodies was especially strong as well. The two of them went to their right and left bags. Long Fei suddenly tensed up and shouted loudly, "Be careful." However, too late. White Cloth Saint laughed coldly, "You overestimate yourself." The finger sword moved. Whoosh whoosh, *2 moves. It pierced the hearts of both the Bic and the young master. Poochie. Poochie. Blood spurted out from his body as his body fell heavily to the ground. His body twitched for a few moments before he lost all signs of life. Instant kill. He wasn't a match at all. They had only awakened the seal of and did not become a real martial Buddha. Their strength was only slightly stronger than the average person. However, their mission was to protect the Son of God, to protect them with their lives. They weren't sure if Long Fei was Son of God or not. However, they were sure that Long Fei was their brother. As he watched the two people fall to the ground, Long Fei's fury surged and the power within his right arm became somewhat out of control. Tinji. White Cloth Saint laughed coldly and said, "Martial Buddha? In my opinion, they are just two pieces of trash, no different from them. Now it's your turn." White Cloth Saint stared at Long Fei. Long Fei stared at White Cloth Saint and said, "Is Evil Spirit Tribe born to kill randomly? Is Evil Spirit Tribe born to be a devil envoy? If that's the case..." Long Fei's right arm trembled. It started to shake rapidly. This was a surging devil's power that had never been seen before. At this moment, buzz, buzz, buzz. Explosions rang out one after another. 5 consecutive hums rang as Buddhist light appeared and 5 rays of light appeared from the martial Buddha. The 5 seal of had awakened. The White Cloth Saint trembled and said with a sneer, "Another 5 pieces of trash awakened. I told you before. Seiji Buddha, you might as well kneel before me. Kneel or not." The 5 of them didn't say a word and immediately rushed toward the Holy Maiden. Long Fei's face tensed up, "Don't go." However, the 5 of them acted as if they did not hear it, and rushed towards White Cloth Saint with all their might. Swish, 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 swish. 5 voices. As the 5 landed, their hearts were pierced by the sword chi. White Cloth Saint swept a glance at the few remaining people who were still alive and said, "There's still one more martial Buddha, come out and wake me up as well." At this time, the remaining people all knelt down. "We are willing to believe in the Evil Spirit Tribe, spare us." Chapter 1924 Right Arm, Demon. Chapter 1924 Right Arm, Demon. Afraid of death. Everyone was scared. What is faith in the face of death? What did the Son of God count as? Nothing was more important than his own life. Seeing them kneel down, White Cloth Saint laughed out loud, "Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Do you see it? Do you see it? In this world, only the powerhouse is a god. Lord of Buddha? Phut." Extremely disdainful. White Cloth Saint laughed out loud while stomping on the Lord of Buddha statue until it was crushed into pieces. She was extremely excited, as if she had a deep grudge against Lord of Buddha. White Cloth Saint looked at the few people kneeling on the ground. Pitiful. How pitiful. If you kneel, you will die as well. Is the last martial Buddha among you? He's dead, and no one can save you anymore. White Cloth Saint looked at Long Fei. As soon as he finished, the faces of those people kneeling changed greatly. "Lord Evil Spirit, we've already kneeled down, please spare our lives. Please. Please." He continued to kowtow. It was completely useless. Die. White Cloth Saint's aura moved, and immediately crushed the remaining people. The entire Buddha's main hall was covered in blood, and the bodies of the surrounding 10,000 blessings were dyed with fresh blood. Seeing all this, the White Cloth Saint laughed loudly. "Buddha? HMPH, Buddha who saved the world? Even if I kill people in front of you, you won't be able to save a single one. Just like the world. Ha ha ha. You high and mighty Buddhas are just trash who deceive the world." The White Cloth Saint said fiercely. Long Fei looked at her. He didn't know why. Long Fei felt that she was a little pitiful. Outside the Buddha's main hall, with 1,000 monk guardians, they did not allow anyone to disturb the Son of God selection. No matter what happened inside, they would never go in. There's something different about this year's Son of God selection. The Buddha's main hall is emitting killing intent non-stop. Why is this happening? Who knows? I guess this year's selection is a little special. It's also possible that the Lord of Buddha is testing them. Maybe not. If only I could go in as well. Perhaps I am that Son of God. Are you dreaming? Everyone in the Bliss Temple was waiting and discussing. No one knew that the current Buddha's main hall was bleeding profusely. No one would have thought of that. The residence of the long-browed elder, clan elder, no matter who it is, we cannot let Long Fei become the Son of God. If he does, he will not let us off. At that time, I'm afraid. An elder said worriedly. Anyone could become a Son of God, so could Long Fei. If it was him, then the people who had mocked and ridiculed Long Fei before wouldn't be easy to deal with. Moreover, they had all kicked Long Fei out of the Bliss Temple before. Long-browed man understood. An elder said, no matter what, we cannot let him become a Son of God. But, no one can enter the Buddha's main hall, we have no way to stop everything. Long Brows narrowed his eyes and said lightly, there is a way, after all. The reason why Long Fei can stand is because there is a power supporting him within his body. Suddenly, an elder immediately said, it's the power of the host. Long Eyebrow nodded his head and laughed. As long as the source of this energy disappears, he will instantly fall into a coma. Under these circumstances, how will he proceed with the Son of God selection? Could it be that Lord of Buddha will blindly choose a vegetable? Heh! Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! The few elders and the long-browed elder laughed out loud at the same time. Long Fei had to die. If he doesn't die, the evil spirit tribe won't leave. Long Fei had to die. If he really became the Son of God, then some people's days would not be so good. This is the holy Buddhahood. But this was also the martial arts world. In this world where the martial arts world was stained with water, no one could be alone. It was even more impossible for them to only have faith and no desire. This was also the reason why they could not become Buddha. Long Brows was moving. In the Buddha's main hall, everyone had died, leaving only Long Fei. White Cloth Saint looked at Long Fei and said, all of your 8 great martial Buddhas have died. Without the 8 great martial Buddhas, you will definitely die. Son of God? Long Fei asked, why do you keep thinking that I'm a Son of God? White Cloth Saint laughed, if you weren't Son of God, how would you know that I am an evil spirit? Only the Son of God would have a reaction to the evil spirit tribe. If you aren't the Son of God, how are you able to make it here and not die? Of course. I also don't believe that a person whose hands are filled with blood can become a Son of God. The only possibility is that it was arranged by your mother 1,000 years ago. Your mother wants you to become a Son of God. But this is simply impossible. Because you are about to die, how can a dead person become a Son of God? White Cloth Saint started laughing. She looked at Long Fei as if she was looking at a dead man. Buddha's main hall had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. This sort of place. No doubt about it. Long Fei didn't think about whether or not he was a Son of God. Instead, he looked at the White Cloth Saint and said, are you sure you can kill me? White Cloth Saint laughed. Do you think you can survive? Long Fei said, let's try it. White Cloth Saint said, let's try it. As soon as he finished. The two of them moved at the same time, but this time Long Fei did not use his own strength. His heart sank as he said in a heavy tone, if Lord of Buddha doesn't care, then I will turn into a demon. I must take her. Boom. With a move of his right arm, the dragon-shaped mark on his shoulder emitted a black glow. It was just like how dragons transformed into demons. His right arm turned black. In addition, the meridians and muscles on his arm were all changing. They constantly twisted and distorted, and streams of power couldn't be controlled as they burst out. He made a fierce comparison. Ah! Long Fei screamed in his heart. The crazy consumption of holy power value. The aura on White Cloth Saint's body also increased sharply. Seeing the tight lock between Long Fei's black right eyebrows, she had never seen such an evil power. Evil spirit tribe. Originally a spirit race. The reason they had become evil spirit tribe was because they had sold their souls to demons. Become the messenger of demons on earth. However, what was Long Fei's right arm? Devil's hand. A true demonic power. How could White Cloth Saint ever see such power? In that instant, Long Fei's right arm became more and more uncontrollable, as if his entire arm was going to explode. Seeing the White Cloth Saint rushing over, Long Fei was too lazy to control the power of the devil's hand. He immediately roared out, "Come on, just release all of your power." As soon as he finished, Long Fei's arm suddenly changed. He then turned into a sinister, gigantic devil's hand and smashed down at White Cloth Saint. It was like swatting a fly. Powerful to the point of explosion. Chapter 1925, The Appearance of Lord of Buddha, Holy Maiden Martial Buddha. Chapter 1925, The Appearance of Lord of Buddha, Holy Maiden Martial Buddha Paji. A crisp sound rang out. Rumble. The entire Buddha's main hall trembled from the impact. His voice was incomparably powerful. With the Bliss Temple as the center, it immediately spread out, covering the entire Holy Buddhahood. At this moment, Evil Spirit Tribe, who had already gathered his power, shouted loudly, "Young Lord's signal. Target, Bliss Temple. Attack. Crush those people." The large army of evil spirits rushed out, covering the sky and covering the earth as they charged towards Bliss Temple. In the distance, a black-clothed man floated in the air, with a faint smile on his face. "You finally succeeded, but you will never be able to return to the spirit race. Ha ha ha." The man's silhouette flashed. Then, a large door above Holy Buddhahood opened. A ray of light entered the door. The man turned around and looked at the Holy Buddhahood, and laughed complacently. "Waiting 1,000 years, I've finally completed it. Mu Clan, Dragon Manor, you've lost. Ha ha ha." Whoosh. His figure disappeared. The door closed, forever. None of the people from Evil Spirit Tribe could return to the outside world. None of this was known to anyone. What is that sound? What happened in Buddha's main hall? Could it be the Son of God was born? That's not right. The Son of God should have been born with an unfathomably bright Buddhist light. But why isn't there any? What happened? The Buddha's main hall shook tremendously, and everyone rushed out of the Bliss Temple. Not only that, the people of Western Buddha City also looked up. The entire Holy Buddhahood was waiting. What had just happened? Such a great shock had never happened in the Holy Buddhahood before. The host rushed to the front of the Buddha's main hall and immediately asked, "What did you send?" The guard monk shook his head and said, "We don't know either." At this time, all the elders rushed over, all of them in a hurry, some of them extremely excited. "Could it be that Son of God is born? Son of God, why are you still not coming out?" "This is killing me," monk said. "If Son of God was born, the gates to the Buddha's main hall will automatically open, but there isn't, which is to say that." An elder said, "Then why did such a great shock happen?" "I don't know. I don't know." Furthermore, from the window, he couldn't see the inside clearly. Buddha's main hall is a special space. Unless you enter, you don't even know what's going on inside. Just as everyone was discussing what had happened inside, an elder hurried over and said, "Not good, not good, not good at all." The long-browed man's face twitched, and shouted, "What's the matter, panicking like this? Is the biggest matter more important than the Son of God's selection?" The clan elder anxiously replied, "The Evil Spirit Tribe is out in full strength, rushing towards our Bliss Temple. This time, the scale is unprecedented, I am afraid." The host's face grew sinister. At this time, seems like Evil Spirit Tribe has been waiting for this moment. And then, the host frowned and said, "Pass my orders, all members of Bliss Temple must follow me out to battle. We must definitely let Son of God out of seclusion safely. 2 more days. You have to take it." As soon as he finished, the host strode out. He absolutely could not allow Evil Spirit Tribe to spout nonsense about this time's Son of God selection. Son of God was their only hope. Long brows narrowed his eyes. The few elders beside him whispered, "Elder, this is our chance. Zhongmai looked at Buddha's main hall and said in a low voice, "Listen to my orders." The entire bliss temple was out. Immediately, the sky seemed to have been split open. An evil spirit that had turned pitch black. The first was the bliss temple with Buddhist light. However, anyone could see that the number of people in the bliss temple was not even a tenth of the number of people in the evil spirit tribe. Resisting for 2 days. It was almost impossible. But, to bliss temple, they had no other choice. When Long Brows saw this situation, he said faintly, "Perhaps this is Holy Buddhahood's fate. No matter what, deal with these evil spirits first." He made his choice. Even if Long Fei was a son of God, even if it would be detrimental to him in the future, he would still turn back without hesitation right now, because his faith was Buddha. Buddha's main hall. After the earthquake, the statues on both sides fell down, as if they were kneeling on the ground. This move. It was as if the world had been destroyed. Even Long Fei himself couldn't imagine it, and that kind of power was just like the Tian Shu said. He couldn't control it at all. However, he was truly very excited because of his strength. However, with a single gigantic palm strike, White Cloth Saint was smashed to the ground like a fly. The crushing pressure made her feel extremely uncomfortable, as if her entire body was being torn apart. But he did not die. What made Long Fei even more incredulous was that his arm suddenly trembled. The devil's power was shrinking rapidly, letting out painful sounds. At this time, the light emitting from the Holy Buddha in Long Fei's body crazily increased. Long Fei suddenly retreated, and his arms shook crazily. The moment he left the ground, Long Fei looked at the back of the White Cloth Saint and became stupefied. Seal of. On a piece of snow-white skin, there was a seal of Buddhist light flashed. The evil spirit Holy Maiden was actually a seal of, and she was actually a martial Buddha. The evil spirit Holy Maiden also felt the Buddhist light behind her back. Her pale face became even paler, as if she had been humiliated. I won't. How could I be the martial Buddha? I am the one who killed Buddha. How could I become the martial Buddha? I won't. The situation suddenly changed. It was simply unimaginable. I am an evil spirit, I am a blasphemer, I am an executioner whose hands are filled with blood. How can I be a martial Buddha? White Cloth Saint crawled up from the ground, looked at the half of the Lord of Buddha statue, and cursed, "Are you an old fool? Are you an idiot? How could I be in martial Buddha?" At this moment, Long Fei revealed his true form of a devil's hand, which was trembling even more intensely than before. This was a mark left on the back of the Holy Maiden. And now, it was like a ray of seal, tightly sealing the demonic energy in his arm. Ah! The demon roared. Damn it! You want me, the seal? No way. After searching for a body for 180,000 years, it was so hard to find a perfect parasitic body. You want to find me in the seal? No way. Ah! Roars continuously erupted from his right arm. Long Fei was completely unable to control it. This kind of power was too vigorous. The words of the Tian Shu Grandmaster was true, the demon only knew how to possess the body. Buzz! The Buddhist light shook. The fallen 1,000 blessings suddenly floated up into the air. The Lord of Buddha statue that was split in half by the Holy Maiden also reconstructed itself. Around Long Fei. 10,000 blessings. The light of the Lord of Buddha shrouded the entire area. Chapter 1926, Long Fei's Body. Chapter 1926, Long Fei's Body. It was hard to imagine. This scene was unimaginable. White Cloth Saint was also stunned. She had never believed in Buddha, but the current scene made her feel extremely surprised. 10,000 blessings in the air revolved around Long Fei. The light of the Lord of Buddha enveloped his entire body. This scene was like a miracle. At the same time, it formed a resonance with the Buddhist light in Long Fei's body. Long Fei's gigantic devil's hand continued to produce devil's power, the pressure of the Buddhist light and the counterattack of the devil's power. His body became like a battlefield. Long Fei was in a bad mood. Lord of Buddha, it's not wrong for you to suppress demons. Demon, it's not a problem for you to resist suppression. But you guys are fooling around with lousy, then there's something wrong with it. Long Fei's anger surged in his heart. I am the one in charge of my territory, it's not your place to purify. Immediately, the power in Long Fei's heart moved. A powerful aura of power spread out. However, his strength had not even touched the power of the Buddhist light or the devil's power before it was ruthlessly sent flying. He was completely not a match for it and was also not above the same level. The power of the Lord of Buddha. Devil's power. These two kinds of powers were too powerful, they were not something that Long Fei could contend against at all. However, if you're not happy, you're not happy. Long Fei did not care who they won or lost. In the end, he was still the loser because this was his body. If he could not make the decision himself, then it would mean that any powerhouse that appeared could easily take his life. The Lord of Buddha is good too. A demon is fine. All in all, I'm in charge of my territory. Long Fei tried again. His holy power value crazily surged, forming the strongest power in the Silver Star realm, resisting the two powers. At this time, the statue of the Lord of Buddha said, Long Fei, I'm helping you purify the devil's power. Long Fei asked, and after purification? Huh? Lord of Buddha was stunned. Long Fei said, after the purification, do you want to become a part of my arm? Ha ha ha. Boy, you're right. He also has his eyes on this body of yours. He is also uneasy and kind, ha ha ha. The demon's voice rang out. Long Fei immediately shouted, he doesn't feel it's kind, but you mean it's kind? The demon was startled as he said, Brat, at least I saved you before. If it wasn't for my strength just now, you would have been killed in one move by this girl. Without my devil's power, would you be able to live until now in holy Buddhahood? Without the devil's power, Long Fei would have died a long time ago. Let alone leveling up by slaughtering evil spirits in Buddha City. Long Fei sneered, could it be that you are not helping me for your own sake, but because you are stronger? Isn't it because of me that you are able to survive in my body until now? Don't speak so much nonsense. I don't care what sort of peace you have here. In short, this is my body. Who the hell dares to move about in my body? I will definitely not let him go. Long Fei said heavily. Ha ha ha. The demon laughed loudly. Who can you not let go of? What power do you have? A trash of the Silver Star realm, you can't even break the dome of the Devil Island. You are just an ant struggling to survive under the pressure of the main temple. You dare say you won't forgive anyone? How laughable. How ridiculous. The demon disdainfully sneered, if it wasn't because your body was special, I wouldn't have even looked at you. Stealing your body is a blessing of yours for 8 generations of cultivation, something so many people wouldn't even be able to ask for. Lord of Buddha said, Long Fei, I won't harm you. I promised your mother that I would help you. I definitely wouldn't harm you. Ha ha ha. The demon laughed out loud again. Buddha with wolf skin, from the very beginning, when the Mu clan's people appeared in the holy Buddhahood, I'm afraid you have been waiting for this day to come. You have always wanted a reincarnated body. His body is your best choice, right? It is the combination of 2 ancient clans from the great senior sister. Mu clan, Dragon Manor, you dare to say that you aren't moving the crystallized flesh of these 2 great ancient family? Humph. Monk, if you really did not dare to be greedy, you would not have planted 3 Son of God's thunder on him. You have already prepared everything. The demon shouted. Lord of Buddha's face turned sinister as he bellowed, how can I be like you? Yo yo yo. Angry? Did I get a sore spot? Why else would you be angry? Brat, don't listen to him. If you listen to him, you will die even faster. Although you call it Buddha, you are actually just a selfish and despicable villain. The demon disdainfully said. Mu clan. Dragon Manor. Crystallization of the 2 great ancient family S. It's him, Long Fei. Why was his body so important? His veins were congested, the pubes were broken, his aptitude was average, and his talent was average. Why did so many people want his body? Death wanted it. At that time, Long Fei did not think too much into it. Now, the devil wants it. Even the Lord of Buddha revealed a greedy look. Why is that? What's the difference between his body and mine? Or could it be the existence of the system? Was this the biggest secret in his body? Just what kind of world was the universal large world, Mother's Mu clan, and the Dragon clan's Dragon Manor? I don't understand. Long Fei really wanted to know everything. He wanted to know why the system appeared in his body. He wanted to know all the secrets of his mother's family. He wanted to know all the secrets of the dragon race. However, there was only one way to find out about this, and that was to enter the universal large world. However, he could not even manage a small main temple. How could he have the qualifications to enter the universal large world? Long Fei's brows tightly locked together, and said, "What exactly is my body hiding?" The demon excitedly said, "You have unparalleled potential, but you have no idea how strong your body is. Do you think your body was destroyed by the divine tribulation when you ascended from God's martial continent to Chaos Realm? Do you think that you only have your soul left? Wrong. Your original body has already been sent to the universal large world. However, universal world and those abnormal beings never thought that your soul would be so strong, to the point where they couldn't even imagine it, and actually be able to grow such a strong fleshly body again. Ha ha ha. Brat, combine with me. I can give you unparalleled strength, I can give you unparalleled glory. What can a mere main temple do? I can easily make 100,000 of his planes disappear instantly, as long as you hand your body to me." The demon spoke plainly. His voice was filled with incomparable excitement. Long Fei's body. It made him excited. Lord of Buddha immediately said, "Long Fei, you must not, you will only become his tool. Your physical body is not as simple as strong. You must not let him steal your life." "Definitely not." The demon shouted in anger, "Why are you wasting your breath? Whoever wins will have this fleshly body." Chapter 1927, The Strength of the Gobbledegook. Chapter 1927, The Strength of the Gobbledegook. He immediately started the conversation without saying anything. If you can do it, don't do it. The character of a demon was one of irritation. As long as he crushed the Lord of Buddha's power, he believed that Long Fei's body would definitely be his. As for Long Fei's own strength, since it was not a threat at all, Long Fei would only rely on him. In this world where the strong preyed on the weak, who would reject the strong? At first, Long Fei did not understand. Now he understood. The Lord of Buddha and the demons wanted to fight over his body. That being the case, Long Fei slightly withdrew his strength and said, "If you want my physical body, then let's see which one of you is stronger. Let them fight to the death." Long Fei unleashed his potential. The demon was very clear on what Long Fei was thinking, and laughed. "Brat, don't even think about escaping. Are you still thinking about reaping the rewards? Ha ha ha. Are you even worthy?" Boom. With a shake of his right arm, the gigantic devil's power flipped through the skies, directly smashing away the floating 10,000 blessings. It was also at this time. The strong rays of light from the Lord of Buddha suddenly became dazzling, forming a huge power of purification that crazily rushed into Long Fei's arm. Lord of Buddha was chanting a scripture. Everything was going on alternately with each other. Long Fei felt like his right arm was about to explode. White Cloth Saint was stunned. She was truly confused this time. She was already a little stunned when she had awakened the seal of, but when she saw that the Lord of Buddha and demon were actually fighting over Long Fei's body, she was even more dumbfounded. He didn't understand at all. However, there was a kind of power in her body, a power that belonged to her own heart. She wanted to protect Long Fei. When this thought rose in her mind, her heart immediately sank. I clearly wanted to kill him, so why did I want to protect him? Am I really that darn martial Buddha? Ah! Her heart was in a frenzy. She was very self-centered. Thus, she did her best to control herself. Seeing Long Fei's painful expression, the power in her heart became stronger and stronger. I clearly killed 7 martial Buddha. Why did I become a martial Buddha? The holy maiden's heart was very tangled. Ah! Ah! Long Fei was roaring. The collisions of energy within his right arm had already exceeded the limits of what he could endure. However, the demons and Lord of Buddha did not care about this at all as they continued to fight like mad. F*CK. Long Fei cursed angrily in his heart, "This is not the way to go about it. Even if I don't die, I will become a cripple." The strength of his right arm was too great. If both sides were to suffer, his arm would be completely crippled. "This is my body, when is it someone else's turn to speak?" Long Fei clenched his left fist heavily. Lord of Buddha, no matter what power the demon used, he could not fight against it. He wasn't a match at all. He wasn't a match at all. They could only watch as they recklessly destroyed their own bodies. Furthermore, this was only their arm. If the damage were to spread to other parts of their body. Long Fei gritted his teeth until it made a cracking sound. F***ck. Suddenly. Just as Long Fei was helpless, the that he found in ancient temples suddenly moved. Buzz. The Buddhist light was like a pillar, exploding inside Long Fei's body. Long Fei's body suddenly moved greatly. The two powers of the demon and Lord of Buddha also stopped abruptly. Lord of Buddha was the first to exclaim in shock, Holy Buddha, Holy Buddha, Holy Buddha gobbledegook? You, how did you manage to get this set of gobbledegook?" At this moment. Not controlled by Long Fei. Buzz. Another loud sound rang out. A pillar of light also burst out from the starbook. The two beams of light instantly merged into one. Boom, boom, boom. A continuous sound of resonance was produced. The demon's heart sank. "Starbook, you have obtained 2 of Universal Large World's 10 great gobbledegook. It's unimaginable, unimaginable. No wonder those perverts all want your body, it turns out. This is the secret of your body. Your destiny is heaven-defying. To think that 2 gobbledegook can be merged together, it was absolutely impossible. No. Nothing is impossible for you." Buzz. The power of the 2 pillars of light once again rumbled loudly. Suddenly. 2 streams of power surged into Long Fei's body at the same time. Rumble. 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 The eruption of the gobbledegook's power was not blocked by any other power, as if it looked down upon the existence of everything. Even Long Fei himself did not expect this. This is the power of the gobbledegook. Is this the power of a gobbledegook? Long Fei was moved from the bottom of his heart. Awesome. The power of the gobbledegook flowed into his arm. Demon, the power of the Lord of Buddha was not pressured in the slightest, nor was it pushed out. Their strength was just as great. Just as their faces were filled with shock, an even more shocking scene occurred. 2 strands of energy converged onto Long Fei's palm, and directly entered. Amongst the dragon-shaped mark on his arm. The power that had activated the gobbledegook was not Long Fei himself, nor was it any external force, but the dragon-shaped mark on Long Fei's shoulder. In that instant, a light flashed on top of the dragon-shaped mark. The gobbledegook's power disappeared. Everything seemed to have calmed down. The demons were completely stupefied. Lord of Buddha was also confused. What was going on? What about the power of the gobbledegook? Where did he go? It can't just disappear after appearing once, right? It was not only the 2 of them, but Long Fei himself was also unable to feel the existence of the 2 powers, and they disappeared from the moment he entered the dragon-shaped mark. 1 second, 2 seconds, 1 minute, 3 minutes. After half an hour, there were no signs of any energy fluctuations. It was also at this time. The devil's power suddenly surged, crazily rushing towards the Lord of Buddha's power, excitedly asking, "What gobbledegook? It's just bullshit, ha ha ha. It is not a gobbledegook at all." Lord of Buddha also reacted and blocked the attack. He was puzzled as well. Was that the power of the Holy Buddha's gobbledegook or not? At this moment, the 2 gods started their battle once again. Long Fei's arm seemed to be about to explode. At this moment, Long Fei fell into a state of pain. White Cloth Saint was also unable to resist the flow of his will. He took a step forward and rushed to Long Fei's side. Rather than passing, why not cut it off? It was a way out. However, just as White Cloth Saint was about to cut his arm off, Long Fei sucked with his left hand, and a drop of blood essence was directly sucked from White Cloth Saint's body. The blood essence landed on the dragon-shaped mark. It was just like A drop of blood essence that activates the strength of the entire world. Blood of a virgin? Blood of the spirit race? At this time, Long Fei no longer had time to think about so much. The instant the blood essence landed on the dragon-shaped mark, boom! A ferocious draconic roar rang out. Next, Buddha's main hall began to tremble violently. His strength exploded. It was as if he was crushing everything in his path. The devil's power instantly collapsed. The power of the Lord of Buddha instantly collapsed. At the same time that it collapsed, the energy that burst out from the dragon-shaped mark seemed to have refined the energy that it released back into Long Fei's body. Suddenly, the system sounded out. Ding. Table of contents. Table of contents. Ding. The system suddenly sounded out. Long Fei's mind trembled, and could not help but ask, "What's the situation?" He calmed his heart and listened. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for merging with the power of the Lord of Buddha, left arm fusion with Tathagata's hand. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for merging with Devil's power and Demon wings. Are you releasing it? 2 notifications sounded. As the 2 voice fell, the Lord of Buddha's power disappeared from his right arm, and the Devil's power also instantly disappeared. In that instant, it was annihilated as if it was made of rotten wood, and at that moment, it also condensed as if it was made of rotten wood, forcibly suppressing it, purifying out the Lord of Buddha's desire and purifying out the demon's greed, thus turning it into Long Fei's own strength. It was the absolute strength of 2 gobbledygooks. That kind of power was something that Long Fei had never encountered before. A power that could not be described with words. Tathagata's hand? Wings of demon? Damn, are you trying to turn me into Tathagata and turn me into a demon? Long Fei did not release these 2 powers, he was worried. This Buddha's main hall couldn't take it. Because these 2 were extremely powerful. Hey, hey, hey! Whitecloth Saint called out a few times. Seeing Long Fei's stupefied face, and seeing him not moving for a long time, it was unknown if he was dead or alive. Long Fei's eyes moved, he regained his senses and asked, "What's wrong?" The expression in Whitecloth Saint's eyes was firm. She did not know why, but it was as if a stone had been lifted from her heart when she saw that Long Fei was fine. She was clearly going to kill Long Fei. Could it be that once he became a martial Buddha, his personality would change? Whitecloth Saint was conflicted. Long Fei was his mission. If she didn't kill Long Fei, she wouldn't be able to go back. But now, she could feel that she was not Long Fei's match. Not only was he able to suppress her with a single palm, the power of the Lord of Buddha and Devil's power had not even destroyed him. Then again, Whitecloth Saint wanted to kill Long Fei very much, but the more she thought about it, the more she couldn't help but feel that there was not the slightest bit of killing intent in her heart, and she was completely unable to control her desire to protect Long Fei. Seeing Long Fei being tormented, she felt incomparable pain, as if she wanted to endure it on behalf of Long Fei. He didn't understand at all. It was as if her heart had suddenly changed. Long Fei looked at Whitecloth Saint and said, "I'm fine." He was also wondering in his heart, how could an evil spirit turn into a martial Buddha? The Whitecloth Saint said slightly, "Just now you looked very scary. What happened to your arm?" Long Fei laughed and said, "You seemed to be very worried about me just now, and now you don't want to kill me." Long Fei did not want to talk about this topic. The matter of him having 2 gobbledygooks in his body could not be told to outsiders. Each of the 10 great gobbledygook in the universal large world were like treasures. From the demon's mouth, it was not hard to find out how much the great powerhouse wanted to obtain from the universal world. However, no matter how strong the gobbledygook was, it couldn't compare to the strength contained within the dragon-shaped mark on his right arm. The power of 2 gobbledygook could only be guided by the power of the dragon-shaped mark, so the strength of the dragon-shaped mark was even stronger than the gobbledygook. However, just what kind of power was the dragon-shaped mark? The ultimate power of the dragon race? Or was it the life-saving mark his mother had left him? Long Fei was unable to explain it now, but he was sure that the dragon-shaped mark's power was extremely strong, and he was unable to control it at the moment. White Cloth Saint muttered. Long Fei looked at her, pouted and said, "That's pretty cute." White Cloth Saint's expression immediately turned cold. He let out a long breath and said, "I hate myself. I don't know why I became a martial Buddha, and I have killed everyone here and trampled on the statues of the Lord of Buddha, so why would I become the martial Buddha? If it wasn't for the fact that I am unable to kill you, I wouldn't even believe that I am a martial Buddha." White Cloth Saint looked at the mess that was filled with corpses. Long Fei was also stunned. 7 out of 8 martial Buddhas were killed. Out of the 100 disciples present, only he and White Cloth Saint were left. They had caused such a powerful massacre in the Buddha's main hall, but the Lord of Buddha was just sitting idly by the side and doing nothing. Long Fei also felt a little awkward in his heart. He always felt that all of this wasn't very real. At this moment, buzz. The Buddhist light was boundless. All of the 1,000 blessed Buddha statues that fell onto the ground in Buddha's main hall started to float one by one. Long Fei frowned. Damn, still coming? Not waiting for him to finish. A voice resounded in the air. 10,000 Buddha is back. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk. The Buddha statues returned to their original positions one by one. Buzz. Another muffled sound rang out, and the Lord of Buddha's statue started to shine with a golden light, as though there was a sun on its back, as it said, Amitabha. Their auras were completely different. It was completely different from the energy aura from Long Fei's body just now, as if he had become a different person. White Cloth Saint frowned, and unconsciously moved closer to Long Fei. He couldn't help but want to protect Long Fei. Long Fei looked at the statue of the Lord of Buddha, and directly asked, "What are you planning to do this time?" The Lord of Buddha revealed a benevolent smile, and said, "Thank you for killing me, my greed. This is also one of the calamities in your life. Huh. The calamity in my fate should be the lucky thing in your destiny, right?" Long Fei said carefully. Lord of Buddha had that kind of innocent and kind smile on his face, and said, "Long Fei, you carry a heavy responsibility. I hope you will not forget your heart and continue onward." Long Fei said, "I have never forgotten. However, are you really Lord of Buddha?" White Cloth Saint's eyes trembled, looked at Long Fei, and said in a low voice, "Isn't this kind of speech a little too good?" Long Fei asked directly, "What's wrong with that? He almost took my life. I'm being polite with him right now, so what about Lord of Buddha? Even I am not afraid of Tathagata. Why should I be afraid of him? Lord of Buddha, Lord Buddha, a different concept." Lord of Buddha laughed blandly. "If you believe me, that's fine. But if you don't believe me, that's not true." Long Fei said straightforwardly, "Give me a Buddha root first, and I'll believe you." He was here for the Buddha root, and not some son of God. The reason he participated in the selection was to save the Tian Shu. The Lord of Buddha smiled faintly and said, "The Buddha root appeared a long time ago and had been on your body since long ago. From the moment you made your decision to save the Tian Shu, a strand of Buddha root was planted in your body." Hey! Long Fei was startled. "The Buddha root is in my body?" White Cloth Saint looked at Long Fei. Long Fei said, "But I don't feel it." Lord of Buddha said, "When you meet the person you want to save, it will naturally appear." Long Fei was a little disbelieving. He said, "Let's not talk about the Buddha root first, let's talk about the Buddha's main hall first. So many innocent people died, are you just going to watch idly by the side?" "Ha ha ha." Lord of Buddha smiled and said, "Do you see them dead?" As soon as he finished, one by one, they stood up from the ground. The heck? This ability is too awesome. Chapter 1929, Revenge. Chapter 1929, Revenge. In just one sentence, all 98 of them stood up. Moreover, what made Long Fei even more shocked was that, in Bic, the bodies of the 7 rich and young seal of shone with the light of the Holy Buddha. On their backs, there was a small sun that seemed to be shining, and although it wasn't as strong as the one in the Lord of Buddha, it was still very dazzling. What did this mean? Buddha Ascension. The 7 of them were already Buddha. Bic said excitedly, "Big Chef, we have become Buddha." Soaring to the sky. The Lord of Buddha said indifferently, "It is indeed you who are fearless and fearless of achievements." Bai Lian. You still haven't arrived yet. You still need to go through some tribulations. Lord of Buddha looked at White Cloth Saint. White Cloth Saint's gaze tensed up, and he lowered his head. Disciple understands. Long Fei looked at White Cloth Saint and asked, "Your name is Bai Lian?" Lord of Buddha said, "In her previous life, she was a white lotus that had experienced thousands of years, went through countless tribulations, and guarded a chance to be a person. In this life, she went through all sorts of tribulations and walked on the evil path. However, she met you at the most critical moment." Long Fei was a little confused by his words. Bai Lian's reincarnation? Long Fei said, "Lord of Buddha, since you know everything, then can you tell me where my mother is? And Devil Island is about to collapse, how do I save them? What kind of existences are the Mu clan and the Dragon Manor in the universal large world S? Why does the devil want my body? Even your greed wants mine." He really wanted to know. He did not feel anything special about his body, other than the existence of the system. Could it be that even Powerhouse S wanted to obtain the system on his body? It's just that their training methods are different. The Lord of Buddha smiled faintly and said, "Your mother has been here before. She told me to tell you that you must keep your fearless heart moving forward. On the way, you will know all the answers you want. Dragon Manor, the enemies of Mu clan are too strong. It won't benefit you to know more now. Fortunately, this time, you managed to escape. Evil Spirit Tribe's powerhouse has already left the Holy Buddhahood and closed the passageway. For the time being, the forces of the universal world will not make a move against you. As for the destruction of the Devil Island, life is death, death is life. When you return to the Devil Island, you will find the answer." Lord of Buddha's voice slowly became softer and the statue also slowly turned into wood. Finally, the sound completely disappeared. Long Fei asked, "Lord of Buddha? Lord of Buddha? F***ck me. Can you be more precise with your words? If you say so much, it would be equivalent to not saying anything at all. I just want to know who wants my life. How is my life worth?" Then, Long Fei looked at Bai Lian. Bai Lian shook her head and said, "I only know that Evil Spirit Tribe wants your life. The spirit race is also looking for you everywhere, but we don't know the reason." At this moment, Bix's figure moved slightly as he said, "Head chef, we are leaving. We will meet again if fate wills it. After they become Buddha, will they stay here or not?" The 7 martial Buddha's incarnations slowly retreated and disappeared. The other 90 or so people disappeared, too, and they were sent where they belonged. Long Fei and Bai Lian were the only ones left in the entire Buddha's main hall. They've all left again. I don't know anything. We didn't manage to get any Buddha root. What the F***ck are we going to do about it? Long Fei muttered. This time he had struck gold, the power of Buddha. Wings of the demon. These were all peerless treasures. It was a good item that he couldn't even get his hands on. Long Fei scratched his head in puzzlement. What are you going to do now? Continue to be your evil spirit? Or do you want to do something else? Bai Lian thought for a moment and said, "Being embellished by the Lord of Buddha, I only have one path I can take." Long Fei asked, "Which way?" Bai Lian looked at Long Fei and said, "You are Son of God. Martial Buddha's mission is to protect Son of God. I will always be by your side." "This is my mission." Long Fei was startled. "Follow by my side." Smirking evilly, she said, "I didn't say I'm a son of God. Even if I were a son of God, I still wouldn't be a proper son of God. I would. Hee. I would do whatever a normal man would do, and I love to do it. If you were by my side." Bai Lian's face flushed red and she fiercely glared at Long Fei. However, Long Fei didn't care about all this. He silently thought in his heart, "There's hope, ha ha ha." Suddenly, Bai Lian thought of something and said, "This is bad. The entire Evil Spirit Tribe is out. I'm afraid they have already reached the Bliss Temple." Long Fei said, "Let them fight, I do not care, but for us, if we can do something in Buddha's main hall, it would be fine." Without waiting for Long Fei to finish, Bai Lian had already run out. It was strange. The door wouldn't open at first, and when she rushed to it, it vanished of its own accord. F***ck. Long Fei glanced at Lord of Buddha and said disdainfully, "Are you afraid that I will do something so blasphemous in your hall? Even if you don't want to, I don't want to either. Who wants to do a live broadcast for you guys? Looks impressive." Finished. Long Fei also followed him out. Buddha's main hall opened. Boom. 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 Bliss Temple was greatly shocked. Son of God is out. The Son of God is born. The Son of God is out. The Bliss Temple was already gone. Only this Buddha's main hall was left. Seeing the Buddha's main hall's door open, Bai Lian walked out. They were all shocked. It's a female Son of God. It really is him. Luckily it wasn't Long Fei. He felt lucky in his heart. It really isn't that brat. I knew it. How could that brat be a Son of God? Many people did not like Long Fei. It was because his holy Buddhahood had become like this. Just when everyone was discussing excitedly, Bai Lian suddenly stood to the side and bowed slightly. She said respectfully, "Welcome, Son of God." Long Fei slowly walked up the steps. Everyone's face changed. It's him. How could it be him? Impossible. How could he, an outsider, be our Son of God? Long-browed man's face turned unsightly. Long Fei walked out, seeing that many people's faces were ashen. He could not help but smile slightly, and said, "Are you disappointed? Are you in a bad mood? Ha ha ha. Seeing your unhappy expressions, I feel at ease, because I feel great, ha ha ha." Long Fei immediately laughed loudly. The host said, "Long Fei, the most pressing matter of the moment is to expel these evil spirits from the holy Buddhahood." Long Fei said, "Let's put aside the evil spirit tribe's matters first. I still have some private matters to attend to." Then, Long Fei walked to Long Brow's side and said, "You're called the Long Brow's Grandmaster, right?" Long Brows looked at Long Fei and asked, "What do you want?" Long Fei asked, "What do I want? I should be the one asking you that, right? Why are you still not kneeling when you see Son of God? How could you have despised me back then? How am I supposed to get my revenge today?" Chapter 1930 Wild Upgrade, Crazy Pervert. Chapter 1930 Wild Upgrade, Crazy Pervert. Long Fei was a vindictive villain. If you displeased me, I would displease you. Back then, the person who drove Long Fei out of the Bliss Temple for him to fend for himself was Longbrowed, and he was ridiculed in every way. Not even that. If not for the host's reminder, he probably would have been killed by the Longbrows sect. Regardless of what the long-browed man's goal was, Long Fei had to vent his anger. Long Brow's expression turned sinister. A few clan elders by the side immediately shouted, "Long Fei, what are you so proud of? You are the Son of God. How can you prove that you are a Son of God? You want us to kneel? Then you'll have to prove it." "Exactly. If you can't take out your proof, then pretend to be the Son of God. We can take you on the spot." Very unhappy, Long Fei grinned, smiled, and said, "All of you who have spoken just now, kneel down." The host took a step forward and said, "Long Fei, don't mess around. Fighting against evil spirits at a critical moment was the most important thing." But Long Fei didn't care about all this, and said, "You want to prove it, right? I'll prove it for all of you." As soon as he finished, Long Fei's body suddenly changed, shua. He disappeared without a trace. Their speed was extremely fast, causing everyone's faces to tremble. The long-browed man also had a sinister look in his eyes. He could not see Long Fei's speed clearly either. Outside the Buddha's main hall, rumble, rumble, rumble. Wave after wave of explosions rang out as a large group of evil spirit warrior were killed. Dead. Piles and piles of death. Wherever he goes, he dies. It's too fast. A few monks quickly reported. Another monk said, "Those he killed were all from evil spirit tribe, not those low-level evil spirits." After they finished talking, Long Fei's figure changed again, landing back at his original spot. His heart was also extremely excited. Damn, the power of Buddha is indeed powerful, and this is only a tiny bit of power from Tathagata's hands. If I release my strongest power, Long Fei slightly said, "Are you convinced? What else do you want to prove?" Long brows relaxed between his brows and said lightly, "Son of God doesn't know how to kill." Immediately, many of the elders agreed, "Son of God doesn't know how to kill. You're right. You are just an executioner whose hands are covered with blood. What proof do you have that you are Son of God?" Long Fei cursed, "Damn. I have a bad temper." While they were talking, Long Fei's brows moved, and said with a heavy tone, "Watch carefully for me." His left hand moved. Buzz. A Buddhist light appeared. Long Fei rose from the ground and hovered in midair. His left hand directly transformed into the Tathagata's hand, dazzling everyone's eyes with its golden light. At this moment, quite a few elders kneeled down at the entrance of the Buddha's main hall. The host's face also revealed astonishment. The power of the Son of God, the power of the Lord of Buddha, he is the Son of God. Long Fei looked around at the countless numbers of evil spirit tribe people rushing towards him, and thought to himself, "Master Tian Shu, are you inside?" The idea slightly moved. He released all the power from his left arm. Thousand blessings sect. Purify. Buzz. The power on his left arm transformed into Buddhist light that burst out crazily, directly covering the entire holy Buddhahood. The waves spread out one by one, as though it was a miracle. The entire holy Buddhahood was in an uproar because of it. What's that? Light of the Son of God. That is the power of the Lord of Buddha. Power of purification. Wherever the light passed by, those who had become evil spirits froze on the spot, not moving an inch. Purify. The light wave moved, Shua. The evil spirit's evil spirit chi was completely absorbed and turned into a normal person. At the same time, the evil spirit power that Long Fei absorbed was crazily surging into the wings of demon. To Buddha, the power of evil spirits was the power of evil. But, to demons, the power of an evil spirit was like a panacea. There were no less than 10 million evil spirits in the entire holy Buddhahood, and at the same time, purifying these evil spirits, their experience points soared as if they were flying. Ding. Congratulations player Long Fei for clearing low-level evil spirit, obtained 100 experience points. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for purifying low-level evil spirit for obtaining 100 points in experience points. Ding. Congratulations player Long Fei for clearing low-level evil spirit, obtained 100 experience points. At the same time that he received the experience, the purified evil spirit power crazily rushed into Long Fei's body and the devil wings frantically absorbed it. A constant buzzing sound could be heard. He absorbed all of the evil spirit's power into his body. Does he want to become an evil spirit? That's why I'm not going to hell. Who's going to hell? This is the real Son of God. Next. The people from Buddha's main hall all knelt down, and the host also kneeled down. Although his long eyebrows were unwilling, he too knelt down. He sincerely admired Long Fei. Just from Long Fei purifying the evil spirit and absorbing the evil spirit's power into his own body, it was enough to make anyone submit. Dauntless. Actually, they simply did not know how much benefits Long Fei would receive. The power of an evil spirit was too great for him. Long Fei could sense that the pair of wings that had originally been his flesh wings had now slowly turned into steel wings. He was even more powerful. Rumble. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Silver Star Second Order. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Silver Star Level 3. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Silver Star Fourth Order. His experience points soared rapidly, rising by 3 levels consecutively. Rumble. All the evil spirits in the entire holy Buddhahood were cleansed. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for purifying the holy Buddhahood. You have received a special reward from the system. Reward, Son of God title. Reward items, time laws, reset, suddenly. The system continuously rang out. Long Fei looked at the special reward given by the system. If it was said that he was not Son of God 1 second ago, then he had truly become Son of God now. It didn't matter if Son of God was or wasn't a Son of God. The key was. Long Fei received a piece of the timecode power, time reset. F***ck me. I'm kinda missing Ike's big move. Mother, you are the controller of the time laws. Did you give this to me? Long Fei looked up into the sky, his heart secretly tightening, and said, cultivate. Laws of time. Reset. Reset to 3 minutes. As long as he was released, Long Fei could go back to 3 minutes ago. This power could be said to be heaven-defying. Because, in a battle between experts, let alone 3 minutes, even a second was extremely important. It doesn't matter if I can't beat you in a single fight, I'll do it again. This was the BUG. Time reset was simply a BUG. Long Fei started to suspect that the abnormal powerhouse in the universal large world wanted the striking system right after they obtained his flesh body. Long Fei landed on the ground. Looking at the tens of thousands of people paying their respects, his heart was actually very calm. He did not have the mood to tease Zhong Mai. It was also at this time. Buzz. A Buddhist light suddenly exploded above Buddha City. Someone has become a Buddha. Long Fei looked carefully. Master Tian Shu. Chapter 1931 100 Meters Dome, Blood River. Chapter 1931 100 Meters Dome, Blood River Devil Island. There was only 100 meters left in the dome. Mountains collapsed, and the water poured in reverse. The entire Devil Island felt like doomsday had arrived. The countdown to death. People continued to fall, and those commoners who did not have martial arts training were completely unable to withstand the strength of the dome. He was crushed to death when he was born. The child bled from his 7 orifices. The entire Devil Island became a living hell. No one cares if they live or die. This was the forbidden land of gods, a land of exile. Who would care about their lives? The main temple was still the same. No one mentioned the Devil Island. During this period of time, he had absorbed millions of souls, and Zhu Tianmo and the people from the Destiny Sex Hall were constantly helping him absorb them. His soul mandate was becoming more and more pure. Ha ha ha. Soul great spell. Soul controlling. Long Fei, as long as I obtain your soul, I can successfully cultivate my soul controlling. 100,000 planes, main temple, what can a sovereign do to me? Destiny God was ecstatic. Other than that, the time for the Son of God to descend was getting closer and closer. Moreover, he was confident, it must be Zhong Wushuang. During this period of time, Zhong Wushuang's main artifact had even fused into a state of pure fire emotion. Right now, he was already comparable to the existence of Powerhouse. Everything was waiting for Long Fei's soul. Destiny God Palace. Zhu Tianmo knelt in front of the Destiny God statue. God of Destiny, these are 100,000 souls. The dome is only 100 meters wide. The entire Devil Island will be destroyed in 3 days. My lord, can you let me leave this place first? I swear to the heavens that I will definitely find more souls for you. Destiny God coldly replied, I haven't gotten hold of Long Fei's soul yet. Zhu Tianmo frowned, and said, Master, we are simply unable to enter the Devil Temple. I have already sent people to attack 100 times, they are simply unable to enter. As long as Devil Island is destroyed, Long Fei will not be able to escape death. You will definitely be able to obtain his soul. Zhu Tianmo said while trembling on his knees. The 100-meter dome would arrive above his head in 3 days. Even if he had an immortal body, he wouldn't be able to withstand it. Because this was a total annihilation. He saw with his own eyes those mountains and mountains suddenly disappear. Even a huge mountain couldn't withstand it, let alone a human's body. Destiny God frowned and shouted, if you can't enter after attacking for 100 times, then go attack again. The dome will soon roll to Devil Temple. No matter how strong Devil Temple is, it will not be able to withstand the dome's crushing pressure. Once Devil Temple breaks, Long Fei will definitely not sit idly by and watch, and at that time, he will naturally come out. Remember, if you want to capture him alive, you have to capture him alive. Aside from his soul, Long Fei's physical body is also extremely important. Zhu Tianmo replied, as you wish. Wait. The destiny god's eyes flashed with a bright light and he said faintly, I will raise their strength to the highest level, and you. While they were talking, the power of the destiny god gushed into Zhu Tianmo's body. Buzz. Zhu Tianmo's body suddenly shook violently. A vigorous energy flooded every part of his body, and his eyes gleamed brightly. Destiny God said, right now, your strength is even stronger than the 12 holy generals, so even if you meet those time laws, you don't have to be afraid, they are not your match. As long as you bring Long Fei back, I will open the door to the plane for you. Ha ha ha. Zhu Tianmo immediately kowtowed in thanks, I will definitely bring Long Fei here. His current strength was incomparably increasing. There was a feeling that I was a god. The moment they walked out of the secret hall, the idea moved and immediately said, 12 holy generals, listen to my command. Target. God Rare Sect. Devil Temple, I'll definitely take you down this time. Almost a month had passed. The dome continued to crush and the God Rare Sect was also unable to endure it. More mountains collapsed and disappeared, not just during this 1 month, the Destiny God Palace had sent people to attack. Even the sweeping monk entered the Devil Temple. 3 great monks. He's not back yet. Although the Devil Temple is strong, but they will not be able to resist the pressure from the dome, and in a day's time, the dome will crush all the Devil Temple. What do we do now? There are billions of lives in the Devil Island. Could it be that the gods of this plane do nothing? God. Why would they care about a person's life and death? When they set up the dome, they already thought of this day. They never thought of the consequences. The gods are high and mighty. He would never care about the life and death of an ant. This was God. At this moment, Yang Nantian came out of seclusion, walked in front of the divine monk and said, Long Fei still isn't back yet. This was the 3rd time he had come out of seclusion. This was because he had already comprehended 3 types of inherited powers. Tianju shook his head. No, holy Buddhahood could have had a huge change in 1,000 years. It is unknown whether or not we can find a Buddha root to treat them. Bawang Hua also came out from seclusion. She was covered in armor, the weight of the armor reaching 10,000 kilograms. The divine power legacy was under control. Is Long Fei still not back yet? Yang Nantian shook his head and said, No. Rumble. A loud sound echoed out in the sky. Tian Chong frowned. The dome has descended again, and it's descending even faster. I'm afraid even the Devil Temple will not be able to withstand it. LV Shuangchuan anxiously walked out. Damn, what sound is that? Could it be that the dome of the heavens is already above the temple? Wang Tai also walked out and said, Has Brother Fei returned yet? Everyone shook their heads. During this month, they had all chosen a power that was suitable for them in the Devil Temple, a legacy. In this 1 month, their cultivation had undergone an earth-shaking change. But Long Fei still hasn't come back. At this moment, Sweeping Monk walked into the temple, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth, his face pale. Bawang Hua immediately went forward and said, Senior, how did you get so injured? What happened? Sweeping Monk said. Someone from the Destiny God Palace. Wang Tai shouted angrily, Fuck, this bunch of bastards, let's not look for him. They come here to bother us every day. If we don't kill them today, I won't be surnamed Wang. As he spoke, the heavy sword on his back trembled. He walked out in large strides, but was pulled back by the Sweeping Monk, and said, These guys are very strong, the power of time I have to control is not enough to deal with them. It seems like they are fully prepared this time. Outside the Devil Temple, Zhu Tianmo's body that was half a human and half a ghost heavily roared, Long Fei, get out here right now. He couldn't wait a moment. Long Fei was his hope. He had to live. He had to leave the Devil Island. His dream was the ancient holy battlefield. Long Fei, you useless trash, get the hell out here. Zhu Tianmo roared again. What are you doing hiding in the dog hole? Aren't you arrogant? Aren't you arrogant? How did you become a dead dog? Get the hell out here. He roared again and again. F***CK. This is F***King bullying. I can't take it. The usually calm Yang Nantian couldn't help but curse as he charged out. However, before he did, he would take the life first. Chapter 1932 Return. Chapter 1932 Return. Outside the Devil Temple. 12 Holy General. And Ju Tianmo. Just 13 people. These 13 people could be said to be the strongest 13 people in Devil Island. Compared to a month ago, they were much stronger. Boom. A sharp cry. The divine crane moved and pierced through the air. Ju Tianmo raised his eyes slightly. Seeing that it was the flying crane, he laughed coldly and said, "You dog, you've finally come out." As soon as he finished, Ju Tianmo frowned. "Do it." Boom. The two Holy Generals flew up into the air and released a strong power of destiny, causing a huge pressure. The flying crane's body was too huge, and adding that the dome was only 100 meters tall, it was impossible to use it. Under the crushing pressure of the two great Holy Generals, his body immediately sank and heavily crashed onto the ground. Ju Tianmo looked carefully and he did not hear Long Fei's voice. He frowned between his brows and said, "Still hiding? Since you like to hide so much, let's see how long you can continue to hide." He took a step forward. With each step he took, thunder rumbled. He rushed to the side of the flying crane and threw a punch towards the divine crane's head. In that instant, a white light flashed. The cold sword appeared. Buzz. A sword strike blocked Ju Tianmo, causing his body to float gently, as though he was a sword immortal. Ju Tianmo looked at him and sneered, "You lost to me in a fight and you think you can stop me?" His fists shook. Without any defense, he rushed towards the desperate man. Desperate man released the strongest killing interspace from his body, and the long sword in his hand struck out continuously, but there wasn't even a scratch on Ju Tianmo's body when his strength pierced it. He didn't even have the strength to tickle her. "Ha ha ha. With just you. A month ago, you could have injured me at least a bit, but now, my physical body has strengthened once again, but you are no match for me at all. Ha ha ha." Ju Tianmo rushed over step by step. The closer he got. In this month's time, the desperate man had obtained her inheritance, but no matter how strong the inheritance was, it wasn't as strong as the power of a god. Although Ju Tianmo's body wasn't a god, it was already a half-god body. His strength couldn't even break through the defense. Moreover, Ju Tianmo's body did not have a fate wheel. Even if his body was crushed to smithereens, he would not die, and he would still be able to reconstruct it. There was no way at all. Back then, Long Fei couldn't think of a way, but it was the same now. Ju Tianmo was different from the 12 Holy Generals. They would kill him if they killed the original body. However, Ju Tianmo was the original body. He had no weakness. The only weakness could be the Destiny God. If Destiny God died, he would immediately die. But kill the Destiny God? If he couldn't even get out of Devil Island, how could he kill the Demon God? It was simply unrealistic. Boom, boom, boom. With an explosion of tremors, Ju Tianmo advanced continuously and sneered, "Is that all you have? Is the power of your Devil Temple's 100,000 legacy just this little? Too weak. Where's your dogmaster? Tell him to get out here." Buzz. Desperate man's sword pierced Ju Tianmo's throat as if it had stabbed into a steel plate. His palm turned numb, and even his sword was about to fall off. At this moment, Ju Tianmo's eyes turned sinister as he laughed coldly. "It's my turn, right?" With a move of his palm, he sent a palm strike forward. Boom. Desperate man was shocked. "I'll do it." Boom. The bones on Wang Tai's back turned purplish black, and he seemed to become like a demon as the strong power of heavenly bone erupted from him. Rumble. When he received Ju Tianmo's palm, he retreated 10 steps, his blood and qi tumbling below his chest. Unable to control it, he spat out a mouthful of blood. What a powerful force. Ju Tianmo retreated 2 steps, looked at the monster like Wang Tai coldly and said, "Do you know how strong I am? However, I didn't even use a single level of power just now. I'll let you experience what is called great power." As soon as he finished, Ju Tianmo's body suddenly turned into a few lines and disappeared. "Wang Tai, be careful." Devil Temple opened it. Ba Wang Hua, Yang Nantian rushed out at the same time. Boom, boom. In front of the spark that flashed like lightning, 2 loud sounds exploded. Puff, Puff. Yang Nantian and Bawang Hua were sent flying at the same time. Their faces turned pale and blood dripped from the corner of their mouths. Once again, Zhu Tianmo's attack was blocked, which made him a little unhappy. His eyes were bloodshot as he said solemnly, "Let's see who else can stop this." Boom. His strength exploded once again. Amitabha. It was very slow, but very quickly, he appeared in front of Zhu Tianmo in the blink of an eye. Tianzhu slightly said, "Benefactor, it would be useless for you to give up your life for Destiny God. He will definitely not let you leave this place. Because this is the forbidden land of the gods, the main temple does not allow anyone to leave this place. Don't you understand that? In the forsaken god land, the people who were sent here were all people who were hated by the gods. How could they possibly release such a person? Then again, this place itself was a place no one paid attention to. No god would save the people here. Not a single one." Zhu Tianmo's eyes turned sinister as he roared, "Smelly monk, stop with your bullsh*. T. God of Destiny promised me that as long as I get Long Fei's head, he'll let me out, and he'll definitely let me out." He had already gone berserk. The dome crushed his mind. The more he had the immortal body, the more he didn't want to die. He did not dare not believe the Destiny God. Amitabha. The three people of Tianzhu's group let out a faint sound. Zhu Tianmo's eyes turned blood red, and he roared loudly, "Whoever dares to stop me, will die." His entire body exploded. A wave of energy that was formed to form a solid mass of energy directly blew the three great reverends away, and as he took a step towards the Devil Temple, he said solemnly, "Long Fei, get the hell out here to receive your death. You're not coming out, right? If you don't come out, I will destroy this Devil Temple and see where else you can hide." Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly, he accelerated. Zhu Tianmo rushed towards the Devil Temple. "He's going to charge in. Don't let him in. Stop him." Bawang Hua and the others quickly crawled up from the ground and rushed in front of Devil Temple, but their speed was completely incomparable to Zhu Tianmo's. The three monks suddenly moved their foreheads and attacked as well. But all of their moves had failed. Zhu Tianmo rushed to the main entrance, stared at the pitch-black Devil Temple, and sinisterly roared, "Long Fei, it's time for your death." "Ha ha ha!" he roared. He stepped into the endless darkness. Everyone's expression changed drastically. "This is bad." At this moment, boom! With a loud bang, a body flew out of the darkness and crashed into the ground 100 meters away. A palm imprinted itself onto its chest, and its entire body split open as black blood dripped from the corner of its mouth. In the darkness, a man slowly walked out from the darkness, accompanied by a beautiful woman. Chapter 1933, Time Reset. Chapter 1933, Time Reset. "That dog is barking loudly. Do you want the bones to eat?" In the darkness, Long Fei slowly walked out with Bai Lian. Everyone was startled. "Long Fei. Brother Fei. Ha ha ha. We're finally back." The three great reverends were shocked. They first saw a lotus flower rising from beneath Bai Lian's feet, then saw the holy Buddha's light that was emitting a strong aura from Long Fei's body. Tianzhu slightly said, "This aura." Tian Chong looked at Tianzhu, his voice trembling with excitement. The aura of the Son of God. Long Fei is a son of God. What about the Tian Shu's? Could it be that we are protecting the Son of God? My God. They were extremely excited, and the excitement was incomparable. They could not stop it at all. "Ah, ha, ha. Long Fei, you son of a bitch, you're finally back." Zhu Tianmo slowly stood up, his cracked body once again condensed and fused back into its original state, perfectly fine. He had never thought of defending himself. As he stared at Long Fei, his eyes flashed with excitement. Zhu Tianmo was even more excited than the three great monks. "I've waited for you for an entire month, and now you've finally appeared." Ha ha ha. Zhu Tianmo laughed madly once again. He clenched his fists tightly and said, "Right now, kneel down and surrender. This way, you will suffer a little less physical pain." Long Fei slightly raised his eyes and said, "You want me to kneel? It seems like my strength was a bit weaker just now." As soon as he finished speaking, Shua, Long Fei's figure disappeared. Shua. Streams of black lines fell as Long Fei's figure appeared in front of Zhu Tianmo. Clenching all 5 of his fingers, a fist exploded out as he punched forward. Rumble. A violent explosion sounded out. The void exploded. A fist landed on Zhu Tianmo's chest, directly blowing him up. Zhu Tianmo's body exploded outwards and a towering tree several hundred meters away was directly smashed apart. Bam! Zhu Tianmo kept spitting out blood from his mouth. He had an ugly expression on his face. However, he continued to laugh and said disdainfully, Long Fei, is that all you have? Too weak, it's not enough at all. Silver Star 4th Order? Ha ha ha. This kind of power, it's too weak. Buzz. Zhu Tianmo's body suddenly shook, and he stood up. The chest that was pierced through was healing at a speed visible to the naked eye, and it recovered in a few seconds. Long Fei took a glance at them, and then looked at the surrounding 12 holy generals, and frowned slightly. An immortal body? Ha ha ha. Zhu Tianmo laughed wildly and said, not bad, you actually know that I have an indestructible body that Master Fate bestowed to me. Long Fei, tell me, are you still able to fight with me? Can you still fight with God of Destiny? Are you worthy? Ha ha ha. Mad laughter. How could he kill someone with an immortal body? Yang Nantian said, not only is he immortal, Zhu Tianmo's cultivation has already reached the Gold Star Peak realm, he is extremely strong. He is different from the 12 holy generals, he does not have the body of a real face, no matter how we kill him, he will not die. Wang Tai said, Brother Fei, you must be careful of this guy. Ba Wang Hua asked, Long Fei, who is that woman? Women were always the most sensitive animals. Looking at Bai Lian, she couldn't help but say, she's so beautiful. She was as pure as a white lotus on a snowy cliff, and she walked on tiptoe, one step at a time. Bai Lian smiled faintly and said, my name is Bai Lian. Then, Bai Lian walked forward and said, let me try. Long Fei warned in a low voice, be careful. As soon as he finished speaking, the white lotus exploded on the ground. Buzz. A white line shot out. With a move of his fists, the evil spirit's power surged out. 6 paths of the 8 trigrams. An enormous gossip appeared out of nowhere. Zhu Tianmo looked at it and laughed coldly, you overestimate yourself. Shua. Boom. His pure strength suddenly exploded and rushed forward. There was no defense, the strong power of destiny was violently surging towards Bai Lian, and Bai Lian also had no defense, crashing down heavily from the sky. Buzz, buzz, buzz. They were constantly going berserk. The two forces clashed together, causing Zhu Tianmo's body to sink, and his entire body to be smashed into the ground. At the center of the 8 trigrams, a lotus bloomed. Shua. It smashed down vertically. It heavily landed on Zhu Tianmo. Everyone's face was filled with shock, such powerful strength. This girl is amazing. Wow, who is this? There doesn't seem to be such a person in holy Buddhahood. Moreover, why is the power that she released a little evil? He didn't understand Bai Lian. They also didn't know that Bai Lian was once a evil spirit tribe, but now, she was a cultivation martial Buddha. Long Fei was secretly shocked in his heart. What a strong power. However, Zhu Tianmo laughed madly, not the least bit afraid as he said, come and kill me, quickly come and kill me. Boom. The white lotus descended. It directly pressed down on Zhu Tianmo's head. The top of Zhu Tianmo's head exploded. Boom. Bai Lian coldly disdained, I've never seen anyone who wants to die like you. His head exploded. In this sort of situation, he could not be any more dead. Bai Lian also felt slightly relieved. However, right at this moment, Zhu Tianmo's body instantly reconstructed, not giving Bai Lian any time to react. Both of his fists moved, and the powerful energy of destiny assaulted him like a landslide. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as he shouted, be careful. As soon as he landed, he rushed out. Bai Lian's reaction was quick. She had already reacted when he felt the fluctuation of a peculiar aura behind his back, but she had never imagined that Zhu Tianmo could actually revive. Even an evil spirit couldn't do this. She had never seen such a person in the universal large world. The laws of each level. 100,000 planes were controlled by the main temple. They are the ones who master the law. Thus, different worlds, different powers. Then again, the rebirth that Ju Tianmo talked about, the remodeling of the body, was only a puppet. Just a little bit of consciousness. Bai Lian was stunned for a second. 1 second. To the powerhouse, that was something that could change everything. Ju Tianmo's attack was about to land. Bai Lian was certain that she would not be able to hold on. It was too fast. Long Fei was too far away from her. Even if she used all her strength to catch up, it would be too late. Everything was too slow. Bai Lian's pupils rapidly changed. She relaxed. She did not think that she would die after coming to Long Fei's world. It was too tragic to look at. Be careful. It's too late, it's too late. Long Fei was secretly anxious in his heart. Suddenly, his forehead twitched, and he bellowed out, "Time. Reset." Buzz. A halo of light enveloped them, causing all the images to retreat rapidly, as if they were retreating. In that instant, he returned to his original position. Long Fei slowly walked out from the Dark Devil Temple with Bai Lian. Chapter 1934 is Immortality. Chapter 1934 is Immortality Time Laws. Reset time. The time in the halo went back to 3 minutes ago. Long Fei and Bai Lian had just walked out of Devil Temple. The surrounding people were all stunned, as if something had happened. However, they all had dumbfounded expressions, as if nothing had happened. They all felt that something was off. Brother Fei? Long Fei. Ha ha ha. You're finally back. The same dialogue as the beginning. LV Shuangchuan scratched his head and said, "Why do I feel like I've seen you a few minutes ago? Why does it feel so weird?" Sweeping Monk and the 3 monks gave each other a similar look. Time laws. You have mastered the time laws which your mother comprehended from these 100,000 planes, Sweeping Monk said excitedly. Although they had also entered the world from 3 minutes ago. However, but they could tell who had used the time laws. She looked at Long Fei. Just now, she could clearly feel that she was in the midst of death, but she suddenly went back to a few minutes ago. She was not stupid. Hearing Sweeping Monk's words, she immediately understood that Long Fei had reset the time in order to save her. Long Fei smiled lightly. "I have learnt a little of it." Comprehending the power of law. Even if Long Fei had the strength, he wouldn't have thought about it. How many brain cells would he lose? And now, he had to comprehend the laws. It's about the same. Of course. How could the system reward him? How awesome was his comprehension? Sweeping Monk's time control was just a little bit. They could only let others feel that time was suddenly quick, suddenly slow, and they could clearly feel everything that was happening. However, Long Fei's time reset time was way more profound than Sweeping Monk's time laws. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to sense it. Ju Tianmo was startled. He felt that his body was not used to it, but he did not think too much. "Long Fei, you dog finally came out. I've been waiting for you for a month." Ha ha ha. Obediently kneel down and surrender. This way, you will experience less physical pain. Long Fei grinned and smiled. It really is a time reset. What you say is about the same. However, but Long Fei was not so long-winded. He took a step forward. "Come at me." Ju Tianmo laughed coldly, and met it head-on. Boom. Long Fei instantly landed in front of Ju Tianmo. With a move of his left arm, Long Fei roared angrily in his heart, "Tathagata." Buzz. The Buddhist light exploded. The fist became Tathagata's hand. A punch was fired out. Space itself exploded. Yun Che's entire chest was pierced through and his entire body was splitting apart. His entire body also exploded outwards with no chance of resisting Long Fei's power of Buddha at all. At the same time, Long Fei did not stop there. 3 minutes ago, Ju Tianmo's chest had been penetrated through and he had recovered. His head was instantly smashed, and he was resurrected. Since he was in his original body, he definitely had a way to kill him. Boom. "Take off your arms." Crack. His arm was broken. "I'll break your legs." Crack. His legs were broken. Your head, too. Long Fei immediately twisted off Zhu Tianmo's head and stepped on it. His left fist suddenly shook. The head exploded again. Zhu Tianmo's body split into pieces, as if he was a 5-horse corpse. They scattered all over the ground. Resurrection? I want to see how you will revive. Long Fei frowned as his heart sank. Damn, he's actually not dead yet. I've already killed him to such an extent, and he's still not dead. The system did not sound. There was only one reason for this. Zhu Tianmo did not die. What's wrong? It is clearly my original body, why can't I kill it? He was different from 12 holy generals. The main body of the 12 holy generals was in the Destiny Hall, so as long as they killed the main body, they would immediately die. Zhu Tianmo's body was his main body, why couldn't he kill him? The power of destiny. Buzz. An explosion resounded in the air. Zhu Tianmo's body recast in the air. Those arms and legs that were chopped off by Long Fei disappeared from the ground. Zhu Tianmo laughed wildly and coldly, and said, Long Fei, you can't kill me. I have an immortal body, so no matter how you kill me, you won't die. Ha ha ha. How are you going to fight me? How are you going to fight against the god of destiny? Are you worthy? Ha ha ha. There were no restrictions on the remodeling of the physical body at all. There was no way to stop it. Not strong enough. That's not right. Long Fei's power of Buddha, the peak realm of Venus, was simply unable to endure it. They had obviously killed him, but why not? At this moment, Bai Lian walked up to him and said, Why don't you let me try? Long Fei immediately shook his head. You are not his match. Just now, you almost died at his hands. Bai Lian's power could also crush Zhu Tianmo, but she couldn't kill Zhu Tianmo either. Long Fei had almost lost his life just now, so he couldn't let her take the risk again. Bai Lian did not know what happened a few minutes ago, but when Long Fei said that, she was secretly grateful. Zhu Tianmo laughed out loud, and said, Come, Long Fei, aren't you very strong? Weren't you in seclusion in the Devil Temple for a month, obtaining the supreme inheritance? Come on. Come kill me. Let's see if your inheritance is powerful or if my immortal body is powerful. I won't kill you. I'll exhaust you to death. Moreover, on one side was the immortal 12 holy generals. It was really tricky. It was like hitting cotton with a fist. You would need to use a lot of strength to be unable to injure it, which made Long Fei very unhappy. Even if Long Fei used blasting fist in this situation, it would be useless. Ha ha ha. Long Fei, come on, aren't you very rampant? Didn't you threaten to trample on God of Destiny? Come on, if you can't even kill me, you want to fight against a god. Ha ha ha. How ridiculous. Zhu Tianmo laughed madly. The Bawang Hua reminded, Long Fei, don't come at him head on. He just wants to waste your strength, he can't kill him at all. Right. This guy is already a monster. There's no other way. Just a moment ago, he was beaten to such a state that he didn't die. From this, it could be seen that he truly had an indestructible body. Long Fei shook his head and said faintly, There is no such thing as an absolute death in this world. Let alone him, even the destiny god is the same. No one can survive. There must be something wrong with my strength. He had entered the holy Buddhahood once, and although he had been constantly slaughtering people, he also understood a few things from the holy Buddhahood. No one could survive. Lord of Buddha was the same. It was the same for sovereigns. The chief sovereigns of any plane of existence will die, but your power is wrong. The destiny god controls the fate of the Holy Spirit in 100,000 planes. It could also be said that he had mastered the laws of fate. Under his control, fate reincarnated and his body reconstructed. He could do whatever he wanted. Long Fei's forehead was locked tight. Zhu Tianmo laughed loudly and said, Come, Long Fei you trash, come. Kill me. Suddenly, Long Fei's eyes flashed, I know. Chapter 1935, The Way to Break. Chapter 1935, The Way to Break Know What? Bai Lian asked. Long Fei said, The laws of every plane are different. Destiny God controls the laws of destiny, so no matter how we kill him, we won't be able to kill him. Long Fei looked up into the sky and muttered, Destiny God should be keeping an eye on this place. Indeed. Destiny God was paying attention to Devil Island. He was paying attention to Long Fei. He could not see Long Fei in the Devil Temple, but he was someone who had transcended fate and could only see him through others. The explosive power of Buddha shocked the Destiny God very much. Similarly, he was also very excited. My strength has increased again. The power of my fate soul has increased again. A perfect soul. It's more than 10 times better than his mother Mu Wanna's soul. As long as I can obtain it, my soul controlling will be at large. When I fuse with the law of fate, I will be a god who controls 2 laws in this world. At that time, Destiny God's eyes flashed with a trace of coldness. The idea moved. The voice exploded in midair and said faintly, Long Fei, you guessed right, I am right here. Right above your heads. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. Zhu Tianmo and 12 holy generals immediately kneeled on the ground. Zhu Tianmo said excitedly, God of Destiny. The Destiny God did not care, and said, Long Fei, how do you feel about not being able to kill people? This is the result of going against me. Do you think I will still act like I do in Chaos Realm? In the ancient holy battlefield, I am a god. An existence that even if you looked up to it, you wouldn't be able to touch. Ha ha ha. Destiny God did not hide. Right now, he didn't need to hide it at all. He wanted to obtain Long Fei's soul at the first possible moment. Zhu Tianmo said relentlessly, God of Destiny, I can immediately capture Long Fei, and I can immediately dedicate his soul to you. Bai Lian stared at the sky and said, that is Destiny God. Long Fei nodded his head, En. Bai Lian said in disdain, a person like him would definitely not live past 3 seconds if he were to enter Universal Large World. Long Fei smiled bitterly and said, but this is the world he controls. Bai Lian grinned. Long Fei raised his eyes slightly, and said, in Chaos Realm, I can make you look as miserable as a stray dog, but here, I can too. Ha ha ha. Destiny God laughed loudly. His eyes turned sinister as he thought about how his anger surged when Long Fei used the universal soul to crush him. He said coldly, Brat, this is not ancient holy battlefield anymore. It's my turn to crush you. You can't even kill a mere puppet of mine, and you want to fight me? What are you going to use to fight me? Are you qualified? Destiny God's voice turned cold. Zhu Tianmo and 12 holy generals stood up from the ground. At this moment, Yang Nantian, Wang Tai, Lei Ju, Ba Wanghua and the others all walked over to Long Fei's side. Sweeping Monk and the 3 monks also walked over. Yang Nantian asked softly, didn't you think of a way to deal with them? What solution? Tell me quickly. Long Fei said, it's actually very simple. If you want to kill Zhu Tianmo, you need to use the power of another plane. What do you mean? Ba Wanghua asked. Bai Lian immediately said, I don't belong to this world. Can I deal with him? Long Fei looked at Bai Lian. He had already tried it before the time limit had reset and found it impossible. You indeed do not belong to this world, but you are already in this world. Yang Nantian said, in other words, as long as you are in this world, there is no power that can kill them. Everyone fell silent. Destiny God laughed complacently, and said, Long Fei, have you given up all hope? You're right. In the ancient holy battlefield, besides the gods, no one else can kill them. Who do you think you are? It's not good at all. This is the power of my law of fate. Even if you control the time laws, so what? You won't be able to escape death today. Destiny God decided to eat Long Fei. When Zhu Tianmo heard this, he became even more excited and said, Long Fei, did you hear that? You won't be able to escape death today. Come on, come kill me. Extreme arrogance. Since the Destiny God said he wouldn't die, then he didn't need to be afraid of anything. Very arrogant. Zhu Tianmo said solemnly, you're not coming, are you? If you don't come up, then I'll make my move. Suddenly, Zhu Tianmo suddenly moved, followed by the 12 holy generals. They all rushed towards Long Fei. Long Fei frowned. He was still thinking of a way. The sword in Yang Nantian's hand shook. Come. Since we won't be able to escape death anyway, even if we kill them, we'll be crushed to death by this dome. It's better to have a good fight today. Kill. Ba Wang Hua's fists shook, and the 10,000 kilograms of armor on his body exploded outwards. Zhu Tianmo laughed wildly and said, "Ha ha ha. As long as I kill all of you, God of Destiny will bring me out of the dome. I won't die. Ha ha ha." Destiny God looked at Long Fei with disdain, and said, "As lowly as an ant, Long Fei, your life ends here. Tribulation? A great calamity for the ancient holy battlefield? That's not right. Being severely injured by the demons, escaping to holy Buddhahood was not a disaster. It was not the calamity his father had predicted. Because he hadn't even gone to the ancient holy battlefield yet, and his calamity was the ancient holy battlefield, not the Devil Island. Thus, this was definitely not a calamity. The battle was about to begin. No one was willing to kneel down and beg for mercy. In any case, they would all die here, otherwise, the battle would have a good time. These words reminded Long Fei. When Long Fei returned to the Devil Temple, he felt that the aura of the Devil Island was different from before. It was an abnormal suppressive feeling, and he didn't notice it until he heard the Destiny God's voice in midair. The power of the dome. Suddenly, Long Fei laughed coldly. "Can't you kill him? Then Laozi will kill them for you." Buzz. Long Fei's power erupted. In an instant, Tathagata's left arm, his 5 fingers formed a claw, instantly grabbing onto a holy general, and he charged straight into the sky. Boom. Buzz. It crashed into the dome 100 meters above. Lightning flashed. The strong force continued to attack, causing Holy General's entire body to tremble. Long Fei managed to withstand it. Boom. Suddenly, there was a loud explosion. A Holy General's body was directly crushed by the dome's power, and at the same time, the system sounded out. Ding. The crisp sound was ethereal. It was incomparably pleasing to the ear. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Holy General for obtaining 5 million experience, 1 million holy power value, and 1 abnormal value. 500 million experience points. Half rank. 12 Holy General. 6th level. Adding on Zhu Tianmo's experience. Break through Venus, break through the shackles. Long Fei laughed coldly, stood under the dome, looked at the sky and said, "Can't kill? Hee hee. How about now? All must die. It's going to be you soon." Table of Contents. Table of Contents. The Holy General was suddenly killed. Everyone was shocked. Holy General has an immortal body, and if you don't kill the main body, then you won't die, but now he was actually dead, and he was even killed instantly by Long Fei. The sudden change shocked Zhu Tianmo. Zhu Tianmo looked at the sky, and when he saw the halo of the dome, his heart tightened. Long Fei laughed. "You can't kill him? What the heck are you clamoring for? Am I going to die now?" External force. Long Fei resided in the plane of the ancient holy battlefield. His strength, speed, and cultivation were all restricted by the laws of this world. Because this was a world under the control of the main temple. It was a rule they made. When you can't surpass them, you can't kill the monster they created, which is also the rule. However, since his own strength couldn't break through the law, he could borrow strength from outside. The dome was crushing down with extraordinary ferocity. It could destroy the entire Devil Island, and envelop all the people on it. An immortal body? It was a joke in front of the dome. Destiny God's expression sank as he looked at Long Fei's proud smile. The anger in his heart surged, and was extremely displeased. Long Fei grinned. "Destiny God, speak. Why aren't you speaking? The monster you created doesn't die." As soon as he finished, Shua. He then landed in front of another holy general, grabbed his neck and fiercely rushed up into the sky. Boom. It heavily crashed into the dome. Crack, crack, crack. The crushing force of the dome was as powerful as a thunderbolt. In a moment, the holy general was reduced to smithereens, directly killed. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Holy General for obtaining 5 million experience, 1 million holy power value, and 1 metamorphic energy value. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Silver Star level 5. The two Holy General S leveled up. Long Fei was getting closer and closer to the Venus realm. He knew. His mother had broken through the shackles of the Devil Island when she was trying to break through the Peak realm. Mother can do it. He could do the same. Destiny God asked coldly, using the power of the dome. Long Fei, do you think you're very smart? 2 Holy General were killed, can you see how much the dome has fallen? The Destiny God disdainfully said, you are only speeding up the time of your own death. Originally, you could have lived for 2 more days, but now, you only have 1 day left. Long Fei did not notice. However, Destiny God knew very clearly that after being killed twice, the dome had absorbed the energy inside Holy General's body, and the speed at which it descended was even faster. In a short moment, it had fallen by more than 3 meters. Under these circumstances, the Dome of the Gods would destroy the entire Devil Island in less than a day. Destiny God also never thought that Zhu Tianmo would be able to kill Long Fei. He just wanted to stay here. It was fine to wait quietly, because no matter how Long Fei struggled, it was useless. He would die. Yang Nantian immediately said, Long Fei, the pressure from the dome is getting stronger and stronger, it seems to have suddenly dropped by a few meters, seems like it can absorb the power from Holy General's body and increase its rate of descent. The farther down the dome, the faster it went. The more people were crushed, the more energy it could absorb. 2 Holy General S. The power was extremely strong, allowing the dome to move even faster. The space between Long Fei's eyebrows tightened. At this time, Zhu Tianmo panicked, and said, Master, what about me? What about me? Take me away from Devil Island, I can be your slave, take me away from here, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. When Holy General was killed, the person he feared the most was him. Because he knew that the dome could kill him, too. The Destiny God coldly replied, useless thing, I gave you so much power and you're still not Long Fei's opponent. What's the use of having someone like you? Zhu Tianmo immediately knelt on the ground and said, Master, please give me one more chance, give me one more chance, I will definitely kill him, I will definitely kill him. Ba Wang Hua disdainfully said, are you stupid? He's been using you. Do you really think he'll save you? You can forget about it for the rest of your life. No. God of Destiny will not abandon me. Master, please give me one more chance, I will definitely kill Long Fei. Zhu Tianmo crazily kowtowed, give me one more chance. He was afraid of death. He was very afraid of death. Compared to Long Fei, Sky-Crushing Emperor was even more afraid of Sky-Crushing Emperor, because he would really die. Destiny God sneered and said, all right, then I'll give you one last chance. Zhu Tianmo immediately kowtowed, thank you Master, thank you Master. While they were talking, boom. The remaining 10 Holy General S suddenly moved. One of the Holy General S bodies suddenly flew up, heavily smashing into Zhu Tianmo's body. As if his body was covered with glue, when he landed on Zhu Tianmo's body, he was immediately stuck. Next, the remaining 9 Holy General S landed on Zhu Tianmo's body one by one. Zhu Tianmo was like a parasitic body, and as these Holy General S stuck onto his body, he felt incomparable excitement. And that incomparable power. Slowly, Zhu Tianmo stood up from the ground. His eyes looked like it was about to explode at any moment as he stared at Long Fei and said solemnly, Long Fei, I must kill you. Boom, boom, boom. His voice was like thunder. Every word was filled with explosive power. The surrounding thousands of miles were enveloped in this power. Extremely powerful. A super mutation. Destiny God immediately turned Zhu Tianmo into a living monster. His strength had undergone a tremendous change. He also had an immortal body. There was only one way to kill him, and that was to use the power of the dome. But Long Fei knew clearly in his heart that if the dome absorbed this energy from Zhu Tianmo's body, it would probably collapse in an instant. The entire Devil Island would turn into ashes in an instant. Yang Nantian said in a low voice, Long Fei, if you use the dome, I'm afraid the dome will roll down in an instant. Long Fei's forehead was locked tight. Destiny God laughed. Long Fei, aren't you arrogant? Come on, keep killing, ha ha ha. Let's see how much you can kill. Long Fei did not move. Destiny God's voice turned cold, and said, You won't kill him, right? Zhu Tianmo, then go and tear him into pieces. Boom. Zhu Tianmo's huge body rushed forward. In an instant, he landed in front of Long Fei, and grabbed at Long Fei's throat with one hand. Long Fei, be careful. Be careful. Too fast. Without enough time to react, he grabbed Long Fei's throat. Destiny God laughed out loud, and said, Ha ha ha. Long Fei, it's time for your death. Zhu Tianmo also cried out loudly. He was already slowly losing his consciousnness. There was only one goal in his mind, and that was to kill Long Fei. Long Fei, who had his throat strangled, cracked his fists. Fuck. King shit. Just fuck it. Chapter 1937, 10 billion experience, go to the top. Chapter 1937, 10 billion experience, go to the top. Dead left or right. Rather than being killed by Zhu Tianmo, the monster, it was better to die under the pressure of the dome. Long Fei threw caution to the wind. His body suddenly sank. Boom. As if a boulder had suddenly stopped, his eyes stared straight at Zhu Tianmo, and his fists sunk. Boom. His arm began to turn red. Gudong, gudong, gudong. Power surged. He clenched his fists, limitless blasting fists. Both fists struck out at the same time. Yin-yang limitless moved left and right simultaneously, heavily smashing onto Zhu Tianmo's body. Blasting fist, whoever exploded it. Zhu Tianmo, who had turned into a monster, was the same. His voice was rapidly going berserk. However, while he was going berserk, his body was also frantically repairing and reconstructing itself. Just as Long Fei had expected, the blasting fist was unable to insta-kill Zhu Tianmo. The disappearance of the Wheel of Fortune. The disappearance of the soul. Zhu Tianmo was no longer a single person. Even if he were to be locked on, striking his body, he would still be unable to fully display the power of the blasting fist. However, Long Fei also did not think of killing him. The instant he was blasted back, Long Fei took a step back and rushed forward. Staring at his enormous eyes, Zhu Tianmo moved his left arm. His left arm transformed into Tathagata's hand. The Buddhist light vibrated. Samsara can't exceed you. Your father has overestimated you. Boom. The Buddhist light exploded, striking Zhu Tianmo's chest, and his enormous body was directly knocked into the air. Long Fei did not stop at all, his fist frantically struck forward. Punch after punch landed on Zhu Tianmo's body. Zhu Tianmo laughed wildly, and shouted in a daze, You can't kill me, you can't kill me, ha ha ha. I will never die. The god of destiny bestowed me with an indestructible body. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. He continued to laugh maniacally. The destiny god looked at everything coldly as a cold smile surfaced on his face. He said disdainfully, Long Fei, if you want to use the dome to kill him, then the dome will instantly crush the entire Devil Island when it absorbs Zhu Tianmo's power. Ha ha ha. You will also die. You and your brothers, your women, your friends, and the billions of lives in the Devil Island will all die. You will become the sinner of Devil Island. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Everything was within his expectations. No matter what Long Fei did, he had no choice. If they didn't kill him, they would die. If he killed them, he would die as well. All in all, Long Fei had to die. The destiny god would become the final winner. Long Fei's soul was his, the souls of the billions of lives would be his, and his soul controlling would mature. No one in the 100,000 planes would be able to stop him. Ah, ha, ha. Thinking of this, the destiny god couldn't help but laugh excitedly. Long Fei smashed his fist against Zhu Tianmo's body, firmly pressing his body against the dome. He looked at the shadow of the destiny god in the dome and coldly said, This is a god. Everyone in Devil Island saw destiny god. They had lost all hope. Especially the disciples of the destiny god palace, They felt an unprecedented sense of despair. How can a god be like this? Shouldn't God save the world? Why? Why is that? Despair. As the dome descended lower and lower, they felt the crushing pressure grow stronger and stronger, and their hearts grew more and more desperate. In the forsaken godland, who would come to save them? Destiny God laughed wildly and said, "In the eyes of the gods, you are just a bunch of ants. How many ants are there in 100,000 planes? It's not even a drop in the bucket for all of you to die. How can a god pity an ant?" Ha ha ha. The word pity had never existed in the mind of a god. They were high and mighty. They control everything. They could play however they wanted, and no one could touch them. Because they are gods. The paragon of this world. The entire Devil Island had fallen into despair. They couldn't fight against the dome's pressure, and similarly, they couldn't fight against the gods. Now, all they could do was wait and despair. Waiting for death. Boom, boom, boom. Ju Tianmo's body was still in a berserk state, and the dome was also absorbing his energy non-stop. The descending speed became faster and faster, causing Long Fei to almost be unable to hold on. Let's attack together. With a slight sound, the white lotus beneath her feet moved, and with one step, she landed beside Long Fei. With one hand on Long Fei's back, she said with a heavy tone, "Long Fei, don't die here." Boom. Boom. Yang Nantian went forward. Wang Tai went forward. Ba Wang Hua also went up. Hair. The flying crane spread its wings and moved forward as well. Desperate Man went up. The two sweeping monks went up, the three great reverends went up, the gold robe master walked out from the devil temple, and then Zhong Sanqian went up. Lei Ju went forward. Mu Bing and the others also went forward. Long Fei pressed heavily against Ju Tianmo. His body kept on exploding, and kept on reforming as well. The power that was smashing down from the dome was also getting stronger and stronger. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. It's useless. The appearance of the dome is precisely for destruction. Can you guys withstand the power of destruction? No one will be able to withstand it. Not even a sovereign will be able to save you. The dome is for the extermination of trash like you. Long Fei, you are the sinner of Devil Island. If it wasn't for you triggering the dome wouldn't have fallen so fast. This is all because of you, you're the sinner of the ages, ha ha ha. Destiny God laughed crazily. Looking at Long Fei's painful expression, he felt indescribably excited. Ah! Ah! Long Fei's right arm moved, the anger in his body surged like a volcanic eruption, and his fist smashed onto Ju Tianmo's forehead, as he roared out, "Explode for me." Boom! The impact of the strong force directly made Ju Tianmo, who was struggling, firmly crash into the dome of heaven. At this moment, Ju Tianmo screamed miserably, "Master, save!" Not waiting for him to finish. His body was completely crushed by the dome, and in that instant, it absorbed all of his strength. Buzz! The dome trembled, and the sky above Devil Island exploded with a thunderous sound. It came crashing down like a crazed beast. He couldn't block it. He couldn't block it at all. At the same time, the system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Ju Tianmo for obtaining 10 billion experience, 10 million holy power value, and 1 metamorphic energy value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining flame explosion. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for consecutively leveling up to level 15. Current level, Gold Star Peak Realm. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for reaching the Peak Realm and obtaining the strongest prize in the Devil Island. Ding! The reward is Chapter 1938, The Outer Tao, The Art of Reincarnation. Chapter 1938, The Outer Tao, The Art of Reincarnation. 10 billion experience points. Experience exploded. Level exploded. In just a short moment, Long Fei consecutively rose 15 levels, directly reaching the strongest realm on the Devil Island, which is the Gold Star Peak realm. At this moment, a system notification sounded out, announcing the reward. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Devil Island's strongest reward. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. Obtaining the strongest prize at this time? I don't need any rewards, I only need the power to break through the dome. The dome was crushed, but Long Fei was unable to block it. All the billions of humans in Devil Island would die. It was just as the Destiny God had said, they were just ants. No one would lament over their deaths, even more so, no one would pity them, let alone hope that the main temple's God would cry for them. No one. They were weak and lowly people. They were like ants. Long Fei felt bad, very bad. Why? Why? At this moment, Long Fei's hatred for the main temple soared to the peak. As long as I live, and don't slaughter your main temple, I swear I will not be a human. The high and mighty god was like a cold-blooded animal. What kind of god was this? They were not gods at all, they were merely a group of people who had won against each other in the ancient holy battlefield. They weren't worthy of being gods. Long Fei screamed in his heart. His hands were filled with blood. He had killed countless people, but he was not as cold-blooded as the people from Main Temple. Hearing the system's notification sound, his heart sank. Give me the power to break through the dome. Give me the power to break through the dome. Old Master, bless me. Thank you, Teacher Little Ze. He had never felt so much desire. He needed the power to break through the dome, an incomparable need. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining External Reincarnation Sky Technique. System prompt, 1 time. What? Outer Dao of the Reincarnation Sky Technique? Long Fei's heart tightened. This was one of the Fire Ninja's ultimate techniques, also one of the divine arts, but it did not have any attack power. Rather, the power of resurrection. What I want is an attack. Yet you gave me the power to save the dead. What is the use of this now? It's even F*King one-time use item. System, damn you. Is this the ultimate reward? Reward my ass. Long Fei cursed in his heart. He was thinking that the system could give him the power to destroy the dome of the heavens, but it had actually given him the power to save others. It was a completely opposite power. To Long Fei, the power that he could not use to kill others was trash's power. Rumble. 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 The dome continued to press down, layer after layer exploding as space continued to tear apart. The mountains above God Rare sect instantly collapsed and disappeared. All of the people on the Devil Island who did not have a martial arts training instantly fell onto the ground, their mouths spitting out blood. His internal organs were all corroding. Ah! My God! Save us! Who's going to save us? Save me! No matter where they were, regardless of whether they were humans or the trembling demon beast in the mountain forest, they were all screaming for help, screaming and begging for those who could come. The god they worship. Their god. None of them appeared. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The Destiny God laughed wildly. He was indescribably excited upon hearing the screams of the Devil Island, and then looked at Long Fei who was floating below the dome of the dome. Long Fei, is it good? Did you hear that? The sound of someone screaming. The entire Devil Island is screaming. Ha ha ha. How beautiful it is. Ha ha ha. You want to save them? Do you have the ability to save him? Are you qualified to save him? Ha ha ha. Why am I so happy when I see how angry you look, how helpless you look, and how helpless you look? Destiny God had a complacent look on his face. Long Fei was definitely going to die. Devil Island is dead. No one could stop him. Cluck, 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 cluck. His fists clenched tightly, and his teeth chattered explosively. His anger nearly made Long Fei go berserk. He really wanted to rush in front of Destiny God and ruthlessly kill him. However, he couldn't even break through the dome now. Long Fei, the dome is descending faster and faster. Not only is it the sky, but the ground is also changing. This dome seems like a circle, it really has Devil Island trapped inside it. What should I do? Long Fei, quickly think of a way. Brother Fei, what should we do? Everyone was looking at Long Fei. Long Fei was the pillar of their hearts. If even Long Fei had no solution, then there was no other way. Long Fei shook his head and said, I can't think of a way. Ha ha ha. If you can think of a way, then there's something wrong. The destiny god laughed out loud. The dome is destruction. You guys just wait to die, then disappear forever. Ha ha ha. Wang Tai scolded angrily. Can you be quiet for me? Damn you. It was really annoying. But destiny god laughed and said, are you panicking? Are you scared? Ha ha ha. Unable to crack. Long Fei's mind was working frantically. He was thinking, constantly thinking, how can I break this dome? There must be a way, there must be a way. How? The dome is round. It's a compression barrier. How do I break this barrier? Barrier? Compress. Could this be a formation? Long Fei's heart trembled. It was also at this time. A voice from the Devil Temple reached Long Fei's mind. This voice was very familiar to him. This was the voice he heard the first time he entered Devil Temple. Your mother rose because she broke through the dome. A voice rang out. Long Fei's heart trembled, and he immediately said, Old Senior, how did my mother break through? Since he broke through the dome, why is it still here? If the dome was broken, it should have been broken. How could it still exist? The voice from the darkness spoke again. The dome is just an array formation. The principle behind breaking it is actually very simple. Find the core of the formation. If I can't find the formation aperture. He did not explain why the destruction dome did not shatter when Mu Wanna first broke through, because he did not know either. Hearing this, Long Fei's eyes shook, and he immediately became excited, and said, I know, if you want to break the formation, then use a power stronger than the array, and shatter it. But Long Fei's heart sank, and said, my strength is not enough to shatter the dome, what should I do? A voice came out from the darkness, your power is not enough, and your friends, your brothers, your friends, your brothers' power is not enough, and all the warriors in the Devil Island. Long Fei understood. At the same time, the old man in the dark thought, child, break through the dome and save billions of lives. You will obtain the power of faith. This is the beginning of God. Chapter 1939 F***CK His Main Temple. Chapter 1939 F***CK His main temple. The so-called faith energy was not just pure strength. It was a spiritual power. They gathered together bit by bit, forming a river of faith, forming a sea. This power did not come from reverence. Instead, it was respect, reverence, and worship that came from the bottom of his heart. This was a true God. If he wanted to resist the dominating pressure of the dome, he had to ally with everyone in the Devil Island. Whether it was commoners or martial artists, as long as they worked together, they would be able to break through the shackles of the dome. Long Fei's heart sank. Then, he looked at Yang Nantien and the others. Yang Nantien and the others looked at him the same way. Long Fei said, I have a way, but I must combine the power of billions of lives in the entire Devil Island. Divine Crane, you will lead all the demon beast in the Devil Island. Their power is indispensable. Yang Nantien, go to the Destiny God Palace and wake up those people who believe in the Destiny God. Lan Ya, return to Tianyang City and join the alliance with the people from the 10 cities. Tianju, Tianchong's speed is slow, send them over. Long Fei said quickly. Seeing Long Fei's serious expression, Yang Nantien was also excited, and said, I'm afraid those people from the Destiny God Palace will no longer believe in you. Lan Ya nodded, and said, I'll go now. Boom. The dome descended again. Quick, quick, quick. Everyone move. When Long Fei urged them, the flying crane immediately spread its wings and flew close to the ground, constantly making woo-woo sounds. Tianju and Tianchong also brought Yang Nantien along with them as Lan Ya flew out and instantly disappeared. However, faintly, the combined forces of these people were still far from enough. The Devil Island was very big, billions of lives had to be united. And then, Long Fei asked, what is the highest place in Devil Island now? Sweeping Monk said, I'm afraid this is the highest. Long Fei said, understood. Long Fei flew to the highest point, and almost reached the dome above his head. Wang, the powerful divine power in his body suddenly exploded. The power of the purple sun, divine power, erupted. The power of Tathagata's hand erupted forth. Demon wings suddenly burst out from Long Fei's back, and each of the black-colored feathers became as hard as steel. Long Fei released his own strength, released it, and then released it back to its strongest point. His fists sank. Buzz! A burst of power shot out from Long Fei's body. Rumble! Rumble! From all directions, the area with a radius of billions of kilometers began to rumble and rumble. Long Fei's voice also became heavy. My name is Long Fei. I told you that the sinner that Destiny God spoke of, you may not believe me, but please believe in your eyes, and believe in your lives. Devil Island, the forsaken Godland. From the moment we appeared here, the moment we were born, we were abandoned. The cultivation spirit energy of the Devil Island, our divine powers were not even comparable to the ancient holy battlefields. We'll always be locked up in this place. This is a cage. Don't ever think about stepping out. The God we believe in, the God we revere, has never appeared, and now. Yet he just stood there coldly, smiling as we were crushed one by the dome, dying. This is God. Is this the God we revere? If you ask me. He's a pile of dog shit. Long Fei's voice was berserk. He used all his power to spread his voice, covering the entire Devil Island. Everyone looked up at the sky, towards the direction the sound had come from. It stopped quietly. Some people started to curse, but gradually, everyone quieted down. Destiny God laughed coldly. Long Fei, what's the use of you saying all these now? Can you save the world? If you can save these ants, you can save them. You can't even save yourself, so how are you going to save them? Heh! You're just a slightly stronger ant. What can you change? You can't change anything, you understand? Destiny God was extremely disdainful. Long Fei said, did you hear that? In the eyes of the gods, we are just ants. When have they ever treated us like humans? They are high and mighty gods. Why would they care about our lives? In that case, then what's the use of having such a god? As soon as he finished, almost everyone in the Devil Island was roaring. Useless. Useless. What's the use of having them? Fuck his main temple. His anger was ignited. Once a person became angry, the fear in their heart would slowly decrease. Anger could make a person impulsive. It could make a person forget all fear. Long Fei said again, right, it's useless to ask them. In this Devil Island's forsaken godland, it's useless to rely on anyone. We can only rely on ourselves. What does God count for? We were merely victors in the previous ancient holy battlefield. After breaking through the restriction, we were able to enter the ancient holy battlefield as well. We were also able to become gods. Wang Tai's blood boiled as he heard this. Brother Fei, what do I need to do to break through this taboo? Dome down. The crushing force was getting stronger and stronger. Enter the ancient holy battlefield? If he couldn't even break through the ceiling, how could he get out? He was about to die. Ba Wang Hua looked at Long Fei and said, what do we do? Bai Lian also asked, what do we do? Speak. Not just them. Even the elderly and children were asking Long Fei, what do we do? The Devil Island was a cage. Whether you are exiled here or born here, you are not free. They want to get out of here. Every single warrior wanted to enter the ancient holy battlefield and change this damned world. At this moment, Tianju sent a sound transmission to him, saying, the Destiny God Palace is already prepared, you just need to give an order. No one wanted to die. If their faith had collapsed, they would have to find another one. If Long Fei let them see that hope, they would believe in Long Fei. Tian Chong also replied, the 10 cities are ready. Woo woo. A sharp sound rang out. Desperate Man immediately said, 10,000 beasts are ready. In that instant, Long Fei raised his eyes heavily, looked at the dome, and looked at the cold Destiny God above it. Long Fei roared loudly, we are going to break through. We might die. However, for the sake of the next generation, for the sake of everything in the Devil Island, so what if I die? Come. Break through together with me. As soon as he finished, Long Fei's hands moved, and directly smashed onto the protective barrier of the dome, as he growled out, My life is under the heavens, no one can control whether we live or die. The moment his two hands came into contact with the barrier, Long Fei felt as if 1,000,000 volts were hitting him all over his body. It was incomparably uncomfortable, but his heart did not flinch at all. Ah! He kept roaring. Chapter 1940 Immersion, Anger. Chapter 1940 Immersion, Anger. The dome barrier was a destruction formation. Searching for the formation aperture required too much time, and he didn't have the time to do so at this time. There was only one other way. Using force to destroy it. Long Fei was unable to do it alone. He needed the strength of billions of lives in the Devil Island, including flowers, grass, trees, demon beast, humans, and so on. Seeing Long Fei go forward to clash with him. The brown bone on Wang Tai's back slowly turned black, and continuously climbed up, like a gigantic antler. He rushed forward. He let out a loud roar, ah! Bawang Hua withdrew the 10,000 kilograms of armor. His body was as light as a swallow as he jumped on top of it with a single step and flew to Long Fei's side. He smiled at Long Fei, "I'll accompany you." Boom! Bai Lian rushed forward. Zhong Sanqian rushed forward. Gold Robe Master rushed forward. Sweeping Monk rushed forward. Everyone in the God Rare sect rushed up and stood shoulder to shoulder with Long Fei, constantly using their power to bombard the ceiling. At the same time, everyone was enduring an incomparably great pain. Long Fei roared, "Heaven's End." Boom! Tianju and Yang Nanshan's expressions trembled as they let out a heavy shout. "What are you waiting for? Charge!" Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Yang Nantian and Tianju took the lead as tens of thousands of disciples flew up into the sky. At the same time, fighters from the 10 demon cities simultaneously flew into the air and similarly won. The 10,000 beasts roared. In the mountain ranges in all directions, the demon beastess all rushed to the highest point. The sky was pitch black. However, this black mass was a drop in the ocean for the entire Devil Island. It was not enough. Furthermore, the dome didn't stop falling. It crazily pressed down, simply unable to withstand the pressure. Destiny God laughed loudly. "Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. An ant is an ant. You want to fight against the heavens? Don't you guys know what you are? You want to defy the heavens? Ha ha ha. You lowly ants, do you think that Long Fei can lead you to break through the dome? He will only bring you all quickly to death, ha ha ha." Laughing. He laughed proudly. Long Fei's fists never stopped. He continuously attacked with his strength and used his shoulders to firmly withstand the attack. Their strength was too low now. The dome was so huge, it was impossible for people like them to withstand it. Moreover, at the same time, people continued to fall from the sky. They were crushed by the powerful force coming from the dome, and their minds were broken as they died. It was like a moth flying into a flame. It fell down onto the ground. Long Fei had done everything he could, and now they could only rely on themselves. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The more energy the dome absorbed, the faster it could fall. It was completely unable to withstand it. Wang Tai roared, "What are you waiting for? Let's attack together. Even if you don't want to think about it for your own sake, you should think about it for your family. If we are trapped under this dome, will we still be able to live? Since I can't live, why not give it a try? What are you waiting for? Fight!" Wang Tai's face was black, all the bones in his body felt as though they were being broken, the demonic strength in his body crazily attacked as he roared. Destiny God laughed out loud, "There is no one who isn't afraid of death, there is no one who doesn't want to live 1 second longer. Look at you people, all you do is increase the speed of death. Long Fei, do you feel good now? Look at the billions of lives in Devil Island. How many people are there to help you? Ha ha ha. You want to change the world? Can you do it? Do you have the ability to do that? A little star dares to compete with Haoyue, you are overestimating yourself." Destiny God laughed in disdain. Long Fei stared at Destiny God with a dark expression and said, "There will be a day when I will explode you to death. One day. Ah. Ha ha ha." Destiny God laughed, "You're going to die, Where did that day come from? Buzz. Suddenly, Devil Temple slightly moved, a wave of Buddhist light shot out. The Tian Shu took a step forward and looked at Long Fei, who was in the sky. Buzz. With a single step, the Buddhist light enveloped Long Fei and the others, reducing the pain of Long Fei and the others being crushed under the dome by half. At the same time, the Tian Shu's body erupted with a ray of holy Buddha light, and rushed towards the dome. Boom. He also took it head-on. The space between Destiny God's eyebrows trembled, the Buddha of holy Buddhahood. All right, give me another powerful soul, ha ha ha. At this time, Long Fei looked at the Tian Shu. The Tian Shu said, I have brought what you wanted, right inside the Devil Temple. According to what you said, I will let them devour the power of 100,000 inheritance. Long Fei asked in a low voice, how much longer do we need? The Tian Shu said, it should take some time. Bai Lian asked, what is it? Long Fei grinned, you'll know in a while. Boom. Rumble. The dome pressed down again, causing the Buddhist light on Long Fei and the others to crack. The further down the dome, the stronger the force becomes. The people from the Destiny God Palace are almost unable to hold on any longer. I'm afraid the people from the 10 demon cities have all. This kind of powerful crushing force was unbearable even for Long Fei, who had the peak realm of Venus, let alone other warriors. 12 Hell Reapers. Get out. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. One after another Hell Reaper rushed out. Boom, boom, boom. They all flew in 12 different directions, instantly reaching the ceiling. At the same time, Long Fei moved once again. Along, I need your giant clan's help. Along said excitedly, we are also members of the Devil Island. We should also do our best for the Devil Island. We also want to go against the heavens. The spatial space moved. Boom, boom, boom. 108 giant clan S rushed out. They stood up and used their hands to prop themselves up against the dome. For a moment, the descent of the dome slowed. The strength of the giant clan was incomparably great, and with the addition of their gigantic bodies, they used their strongest giant strength to forcefully block the dome. But it was only temporary. Every single giant clan was in a state of difficulty. However, although it was only temporary, it gave the people from Devil Island hope and excitement. Destiny God's eyes turned cold as he said, I never thought that the first clan in Devil Island that was abandoned by the gods, the giant tribe, is still alive in this world. Long Fei, I have to say, you really have some ability. To think that even giant clan would listen to your command. However, Destiny God laughed coldly. Suddenly, the power from Destiny God's body suddenly moved, and the strong force of the fate wheel heavily smashed down, as if a gigantic pillar of light had descended from the sky. Rumble. Rumble. The dome sank. Bang, bang, bang. The 108 giant clan S were crushed to the point of kneeling on the ground, feeling incomparable pain. Destiny God laughed coldly. Giant clan? Ha ha ha. Nothing much. Chapter 1941 Ultimate Boxing. Chapter 1941 Ultimate Boxing. Long Fei wanted to curse. He wanted to kill Destiny God. He wanted to kill him more than ever. If the Destiny God's power was unleashed, even 100 giants would not be able to withstand it, and Long Fei himself was startled. Too powerful. Destiny God, on the other hand, continued to laugh complacently. Long Fei, is this great? Ha ha ha. So what if you're a giant clan? So what if you're a Hell Reaper? What can it change? Nothing can change anything. Do you think getting these monsters is defying the heavens' will? Stop dreaming. You can't change anything. Just a little ant, do you understand? The Destiny God laughed out arrogantly. Long Fei was already powerless to reverse the situation. There were fewer and fewer willing to die for him. Everyone on the Devil Island felt despair. Giant Clan's appearance gave them a sliver of hope, but Destiny God's move instantly plunged them into an abyss of despair. Boom, boom. Giant Clan knelt on the ground and used all of his strength to resist, but as their knees slowly seeped into the ground, their bodies also started to sink deeper and deeper. From the height of the first 100 meters, There were only a few dozen meters left. Mountains collapsed and rivers flowed backwards. The entire Devil Island was being split apart. The dome was visible to the naked eye. Not only that, the dome under the ground was also rising crazily. Devil Island. They would be crushed into dust. Feeling good. Destiny God laughed crazily. Are you not happy? If you don't like it, then just give it a try. Boom. Another blast of the power of destiny landed on the dome, causing it to plummet. Boom. Giant Clan's hands could not resist. The dome of death was crushing their shoulders. Blood spewed out of his mouth. Ha ha ha. Giant Clan? Kneel before me and tremble. You were abandoned by the gods 10,000 years ago. You have no right to live in this world at all. Today, I will annihilate your entire clan, because you've chosen the wrong master. Ha ha ha. Rumble. Another wave of destiny energy came crushing down. Giant Clan carried it on his shoulder tightly as he spat out blood continuously, his face incomparably pale. Along looked at Long Fei and said, Young master, our Giant Clan will definitely not take even half a step back. For you. Ah. Even if he was kneeling on the ground, even if his head was lowered. However, they did not give up. Even if they were to die on their knees, they would still use their own bodies to withstand it. Because this was their choice. Long Fei brought them out of the abyss, and they would do anything for Long Fei, even if it meant death. Long Fei's heart felt unspeakably uncomfortable. Destiny God crazily attacked the dome as he laughed maniacally. Long Fei looked at him and stared fixedly at him. Her eyes were completely bloodshot. But there was nothing to be done now. He could only continuously bombard the dome. Long Fei roared, Power, I need stronger power, give me power. The system did not respond. The dragon-shaped mark did not respond. The sleeping beauty did not respond. The old man's voice from the Devil Temple also did not respond. It was as if, at this moment, everyone that Long Fei could rely on disappeared. At this moment, a Yellow Star Realm child rushed into the sky and shouted, For Long Fei. Boom. He took it head on. When it hit the dome, it was instantly killed by the dome's crushing force. But this action touched upon the nerve in everyone's hearts. Ah! For Long Fei. For him. For Long Fei. It was as if they had all gone mad. One by one, they rushed into the sky. Regardless of whether it was the elderly, women, or children, they all soared into the sky. At this moment, those wounded warriors and those who had despaired for their lives were ignited once again. The entire Devil Island was blotting out the sky and covering the earth, at this moment. The billions of lives on Devil Island all resisted, and they went forward to fight it one after another. Nothing. All of them shouted, For Long Fei. Immediately, there was a black mass under the dome. Humans and beasts were united to defend themselves. Ha ha ha. Wang Tai laughed excitedly, 1 billion people moving together, what kind of feat is that? Then, he looked at Long Fei and said, For Long Fei. Boom. Wang Tai smashed his head against it. Ba Wang Hua looked at Long Fei and gave a shallow smile, For Long Fei. Boom. He also crashed into the wall. The sky was densely packed with people. At the same time, there were people falling from the sky and dying. Everyone was fighting with their lives. Giant Clan fell one by one, but they still carried it with their bodies. 12 Hell Reapers spat out blood one after another, but they did not retreat even half a step. At this moment, Long Fei's heart felt as if it was pierced through with 1,000 holes, and that kind of discomfort couldn't be expressed with any words. Pain. Long Fei was in great pain, but he knew that now was not the time to be in pain. He could not let anyone die in vain. He wanted the 100,000 planes, to let the high gods of the main temple remember the names of each and every one of them. He wanted to defy the heavens, change the world. Suddenly, Long Fei looked at the Tian Shu and asked, Are you done yet? The Tian Shu clasped her hands together and said faintly, The 100,000 inheritances should be more or less swallowed by them. All right. Long Fei let out a heavy roar, looked at the dome that had been slightly raised, and controlled the idea. Evil spirit and king, devour the heaven. Rumble. Devil Temple suddenly exploded. A mass of shining black ants, millions of them shot out and rushed towards the dome, crazily devouring everything in their path. At the same time, Long Fei's idea kept searching. He had to find the weakest spot. There must be a weak spot. People can't find it, but... However, the man-eating ants led by the evil spirit ant king were able to discover that after devouring 100,000 of their inheritances, they had become even more powerful. Long Fei crazily accepted the message from the ant king. Suddenly, all the man-eating ants gathered in one place. Long Fei shouted in a serious tone, "Fuck! I've finally found it." In that instant, Long Fei moved. Fusion, flame explosion, fusion, purple sun divine power, fuse all of my secret arts. Ding. Blasting fist has gained 100,000 experience points. Level up. Ding. Blasting fist leveled up. Ding. Blasting fist leveling up. Other than the cultivation technique, Long Fei had also fused all of the cultivation techniques he had cultivated in, regardless of what they were. This was his only chance. The blasting fist was also his only chance. If he couldn't break it, he would die. His fraternity was dead. The billions of citizens in Devil Island would die. Ding. Congratulations, Blasting Fist has leveled up. Current level, 10. Ultimate Boxing. Chapter 1942 I was going to blow him up. Chapter 1942 I was going to blow him up. Boom. Following the fall of the system beep, the power on Long Fei's arm suddenly began to shake greatly. His arms trembled. This was even fiercer than if Lu Fei had blocked 8 attacks. Strength. Immense strength. Long Fei's eyes darkened. Feeling the power of the ultimate boxing, looking at the dome, and looking at the destiny god above the Poor Lands, his fists sank. Rumble. Rumble. On his left and right arms, scarlet-red strength stripes crazily rampaged outwards. Long Fei's entire being seemed to have fallen into a state of madness. His fists moved. Boom. Blasting fist. Long Fei leapt forward and rushed towards the cannibal fish to find the weakest spot. At the same time, tens of thousands of people were crushed to death by the dome. The sky looked like it was raining corpses, falling down one by one. At the same time, more and more energy was being absorbed from the dome, and the dome was falling faster and faster. Let's go all out. I'm giving it my all. In the end, everyone on the Devil Island let out angry roars. As they advanced forward, no one dared to retreat. He was going to die anyway, why not be a bit more heroic? Destiny God laughed coldly. An ant is an ant. Have you ever fought before? What are you guys? Trash. Very contemptuous. These people couldn't even withstand the pressure of the dome. All of them would die. And he would wait here to harvest souls. What is a god? What are you, who was standing proudly under the dome, stared intently at the destiny god who was on top of the dome. His fists suddenly pressed against the dome. Destiny God looked at Long Fei with disdain and said, Long Fei, what are you then? An ant? Trash. Ha ha ha. You are unwilling to be an ant, but you are unable to change anything and can only be ruthlessly stepped on by me. Is that so? The corner of Long Fei's mouth drew back. In this instant, he roared in his heart, ultimate boxing, break for me. A powerful force burst out from his fist. Boom. With just a thought, Long Fei inserted both of his fists into the dome of the building. Wung, wung, wung. Both of his fists sank into the dome, and at the same time, Long Fei felt an incomparably strong power from the ultimate boxing being released from within the dome. Rumble. The huge thunder shook the sky. In that instant, the dome came to an abrupt halt. Moreover, cracks appeared densely in the sky and light rays were repeatedly shot out from the cracks. The pressure on the dome weakened, finally disappearing. The descent of the dome stopped. Everything around them seemed to have stopped moving. The domes cracked. The dome stopped falling. Are we saved? It's Long Fei, it's Long Fei. Everyone turned to look at Long Fei, only to see him sticking his hands into the ceiling, His entire body was drenched in cold sweat, and the pain he was enduring was unimaginable. Destiny God's forehead turned sinister, his heart was shaken. He never thought that Long Fei would actually be able to cause the dome to crack with his own strength. How could he possess such powerful strength? Unimaginable terror. However, Destiny God laughed coldly, breaking the dome. Ha ha ha. Long Fei, you are still a little short. While they were talking, the energy aura on Destiny God's body started to surge. The aura within a radius of millions of kilometers started to swirl frantically, forming a huge energy swirl. Destiny God stood in the middle of the vortex, disdainfully laughing. Long Fei, you've lost. Push on it. The vortex of energy came crashing down. The dome was only cracked and had yet to shatter. It still had a powerful crushing force. As long as it was crushed by an external force, the dome would also come crashing down. 10 meters above the ground. Everyone in the Devil Island will die. At this moment, everyone on the Devil Island fell into despair once more. It was as if there was not a trace of light in the darkness. Long Fei, be careful. Brother Fei. Long Fei. All of their powers were aimed at Long Fei. Moreover, he was stuck in the dome with his fists, unable to move. He bore the brunt of it. Destiny God laughed arrogantly. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Long Fei, tremble. The moment the energy vortex came crashing down, Long Fei grinned and said, the one trembling is you. The vortex touched the dome. Long Fei roared, explode for me. The power of the ultimate boxing exploded along with it. Just now, he was only releasing the power of blasting fist in the dome, and just releasing that made the dome crack. Long Fei used his force to extend to every corner of the dome. At this moment, exploding forth. Rumble. 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 The sky and earth shook. The area within trillions of kilometers was filled with tremors. It was incomparably strong. It was also at this time. Fragments of the dome began to fall off one by one, slowly turning into a faint glow that slowly disappeared into the sky. It was as if starlight was sprinkling down from the heavens. He had never seen such a beautiful scene. Everyone looked up at the sky, watching the beautiful sight. At this moment, what they saw was not only beautiful scenery, but also freedom, rebirth, and that throbbing heart. It was as if he had been liberated. It broke. The dome is broken. Ha ha ha. The dome was destroyed by Long Fei. We are saved. We are saved. We no longer have to live in the Devil Island. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Cheers. Everyone was cheering. Tears of joy. Never thought of this day. Father, did you see that? Master Long Fei broke the dome, so we can leave Devil Island. A young man hugged his father, tears flowing uncontrollably down his face. Not just him. Many people were hugging the corpses of their loved ones. The reason they could leave was all because of Long Fei, and also because of these dead people. Tens of millions of people and demon beast died under the pressure of the dome. Because of their deaths, the dome could fight back. And because of their deaths, these people were still alive. Where's Brother Fei? Where's Long Fei? Where did he go? Where did he go? After the violent explosion just now, Long Fei had disappeared, and no one could see where he went. Bawang Hua shouted anxiously, Long Fei, where are you? Bai Lian frowned as she looked up at the sky and said, it's up there. The moment the dome shattered, Long Fei didn't even wait half a second as he took a flying step forward and rushed towards Destiny God, roaring loudly, Destiny God you bastard, now it's your turn to be a mother. Anger soared. He couldn't tolerate it for even a moment. Long Fei would be unhappy if he did not kill the Destiny God. So much was done by him. Seeing that arrogant Destiny God, Long Fei only had one thought, I want to explode him to death. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.